All of the ideologies which are being pushed by the Matrix are designed to destroy something.
Andrew Tate goes on a massive attack to the crypto community.
Yeah, I'm a Bitcoin maximalist. That's you? That's your personality? That's everything you are?
He shares a story he's never told and a secret he's never shared.
I know a killer when I see one. Me and him have a Mexican standoff at the back of the car. They set me up when I put my bag in the trunk at the beginning.
He explains to you step by step how you can get rich. And he exposes feminism and defends himself against misogyny.
Feminism is probably the most misogynistic movement on earth because what it does is it makes women into competitors with men in realms where they can't compete with men.
Before I tell you the wild discussions we had, I'm giving away £30,000 worth of exclusive prizes just for listening to both parts of this Andrew Tate launch. All you have to do is find the secret question hidden in these 2 episodes.
What defines sexual consent? You said fucking bring it. You told me to bring it.
Well, it's forever changing, isn't it? I think if we're watching this, I think everyone at home knows what rape is. I think everyone at home knows what an actual rape is and how heinous and disgusting that is. And I'm the first person as a masculine man to say that rapists should face the death penalty. I'll say it myself. A woman regretting consensual sex years later is not rape. I think that's cheapening the idea of rape. I think it's insulting to the women who have genuinely been raped. I think to sit and say that rape can now include a woman having a one-night stand, demanding handbags, not getting handbags, being upset that she can't get handbags, still not calling the police, seeing that man buy another woman a handbag a year and a half later, and then deciding it was rape. I think that is extremely insulting to the unfortunate women who have suffered genuine sex crime. I think it's disgusting. I also think that most women and most men know what sexual consent is. I have daughters. I have a lot of daughters and sons, but I want to make something clear, because one of the things that's used against me most often is people say, I said women bear some responsibility for getting raped, which is not what I said. What I said is that we're adults and we must all bear responsibility for the situations we find ourselves in. If a woman is walking her dog in the park and is raped, that's disgusting, and that's not her fault. What I was talking about was a particular scenario in which a woman will go out with a man, get drunk with a man, spend all night with a man, go to the man's house, continue to drink, have sex with the man, then years later decide that it was rape. My argument would be, if you don't want to have sex with a man, do not get drunk with him and do not go lay in his bed. That's my argument. I have daughters, and I would say, do not get drunk with men and lay in their bed if you don't want to have sex with them, ever. Don't do that, because you're going to give the man the impression. Now, I'm not saying the man can rape her. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you're putting yourself in a position where rape is more likely to happen. If I decide to walk through the worst area of town with $1 million in cash, yeah, nobody should rob me. You're right. It's a crime to rob me. But am I making myself a robbery target? Am I making myself easy to rob? It would be irresponsible for me to do such a thing. So I think that the best way to protect women in these scenarios is not to do what the feminists are doing, which is to come along and try and create this ideal world. Well, men should know not to rape. We do. We know not to rape. We also know not to kill. And women should know not to lie. But guess what? People are imperfect and people do bad things. So what you have to do is take personal responsibility and protect yourself against the possibility of these things. I think that the reason sexual consent has now become such a hot topic is, yes, there's bad actors doing bad things, of course, men and women. But truthfully, I think a lot of this is happening because we've removed some of the basic societal norms. A woman wouldn't get drunk with a man and go to a man's house and lay in the man's bed and kiss the man and take all her clothes off and then not want to sleep with a man 40 years ago. So the consent line wasn't as blurred because it was, you're not my husband or you're not my boyfriend, I don't want to go anywhere near you. It was a pretty clear line. So then the line had to be jumped over by a predator. But now the line's all messy because of the immorality of people, male and female. So now it's very difficult. Where do you draw the line? What if she gives consent, but she was drunk? That doesn't count. How is the man supposed to know? Is he supposed to get out a blood alcohol measure and make her beep beep? Oh, sorry, your yes doesn't count. The whole line's messed up because morality is destroyed. If you destroy morality, then now there can't be a line. So I can't answer the question. Nobody can. And the law's coming along trying to find the line in all these individual cases, in these huge court cases, trying to find the line where there's no morality at all. I would argue, and I know this is difficult to say, but I'm going to say it. If my daughter came to me and said I was raped, before, on my way to get my gun, I'd say, tell me the story. And if she said, I met a man and I was dating him for many weeks and I went out with him and I started drinking with him and then I went to his house and we continued to drink and it was a party and then we started kissing and I took all my clothes off and then we started having sex and then I decided I didn't want to have sex anymore. I'm like, I can't truthfully shoot this man in the head anymore. Why did you do all of that? Why didn't you just say no? And I'm talking about my own daughter here. But I don't know if I'm allowed to say this without the world having a mental breakdown, because we live in a world now where nothing is nuanced. You can't make a nuanced point. You can't talk about how complicated a subject is. Everyone wants black and white. It's difficult what sexual consent is anymore, because when you remove morality, there's no longer a line. I don't know. It's hard. This is why I've settled down with my 11 wives, because you can't trust anyone. Let's imagine I meet a brand new girl, and let's imagine we have a happy relationship, and let's imagine we're together for 9 months, and let's imagine we have sex 100 times. And let's imagine I don't buy her a BMW. Let's imagine. And let's imagine she texts me and says, I want a BMW. And I say no. And let's imagine she texts me and says, if you don't buy me a BMW, I will go to the police and say you raped me. Let's imagine she admits.
Was she from Peterborough, where I live?
Well, let's imagine she admits via text to the crime. She admits what she's going to do for a car. And I still refuse to buy her a car. When she goes to the police and makes that complaint, I will still be arrested. I will still be demonized in the media. I will still have to go to court. I will still have to go through a trial. I will still spend $3 million in legal fees, despite her admitting to the fact she is lying for a car. I will still have my reputation decimated. My life will be damaged. I'll be stressed to the max. I'll have legal fees. I'll go through all of this, all because I didn't buy her a car, despite her admitting the crime, because I'm a man. And even worse, I'm a famous man. And even worse than that, I'm a masculine man. So I'm the enemy of the Matrix. So how can a man even fairly and safely have a relationship anymore? Where is sexual consent? I don't know. I had sex with her 100 times. Was she drunk one of those times? I don't think so. Do I alcohol breath test her every single time? No. She's now saying she was drunk. I'm saying, well, she came over my house at 11:30 p.m. We went straight to bed. I don't know. I didn't know this. I don't drink. I haven't drunk a drop of alcohol in a year and a half. Yeah, but she was drunk. Prove it. Do you have the blood alcohol test that she was drunk? No, neither do I. But she says she was drunk. So she says the consent isn't real, so you still have to go to a trial. But she admitted she lied for a BMW. Trial. We have evidence to the contrary because you said on Rob Moore's podcast that women can't park. And that BBC, rapist. Bro, you can't live a life anymore. And the scenario I've just described to you is 100% accurate. So how are you as a man now? You asked me what sexual consent is. I don't know. There is no sexual consent anymore. Let me change my answer. My answer was there's no longer a clear line of sexual consent because of diluted morality. I'm going to change the answer. As a man, there is never consent. Because if it can be snatched from you retrospectively, then you never had it. You never owned it. If I give you something and I can snatch it back off of you at any time, do you own it? No, you're borrowing it. You can borrow consent as long as you never annoy that female at any point in the future ever. Good luck. That's what a line of sexual consent is for a man. So as a man in the Western world, you have zero consent. And even if you have all of the proof, I made the point about the text for the BMW because that's very important. You can have CCTV footage, you can have all her text, you can have everything. They will still destroy you in the media. So it doesn't matter. Your reputation is still tarnished. You'll lose your job, lose your bank accounts. They'll still take everything from you. So there is no sexual consent anymore for a man in the West. It doesn't exist.
So here's a paradox I've just picked up out of that.
Sure.
And that is everything you said about what the media will do to you has made you bigger than Jesus Christ.
Well, yeah.
Like you are bigger than Jesus right now.
Yeah, it's made me massively, it has made
Because if
me.
it didn't work like that, you wouldn't be as big as you are.
Correct. But I'll also argue I'm in a fortunate situation because 99% of men who was hit like I was hit couldn't have done what I've done. And I'll tell you why. Firstly, there's the mental aspect. Every man thinks he's tough till it's going on. Two, when you have the BBC attacking you, attacking your mother, attacking your family, attacking the mothers of your children, when your kids are getting kicked out of school, when reporters are following your old mother around, when they've closed all your bank accounts down, when they're trying their very best to call all your ex-girlfriends and build up cases that don't exist, when they're printing lies about you, when you know you can go to jail at any moment for nothing. That's a lot of mental stress. Most people, I'd argue, couldn't deal with that mental stress. Next, financially. Most people have a job, and your job is gone, and you're broke. If you have your own business, you can't get customers or clients. Most people. I'm in a very fortunate financial situation where my finances are hard to touch and very difficult to damage. In fact, they've been trying for a very long time to take down my schools, the war room. That's not even my main money. My main money is other things they don't even know about. I can't be damaged. I'm actually in the NBA. I'm an NBA player. Never broke again. So because of that, I'm also fortunate. And I'm a very good speaker with a very large platform. And they've tried to cancel me and ban me, which they've done. Normally that makes someone go away. I don't go away. They've tried and I don't go away. I'm on other platforms so I can speak. If I was a normal person and I got hit with that garbage, I wouldn't be bigger than Jesus Christ. I'd be destroyed. I'd have no money. I'd have no job. I'd be able to get no customers. I'd have no social media. I wouldn't be able to tell my version of the truth. And they'd be printing lies about me endlessly. And add all that on top of the other mental pressure, I'd be suicidal. And they wouldn't care. They'd think it was funny. 99% of men who, if they've gone through what I've gone through, would be a mess. So I pulled it off. It's true. But I speak to all the men out there at home telling you you have no consent. Because if it happens to the average man, he's done. He is done. It happens to footballers. They're famous and they lose their contracts, they lose everything. It's crazy. There's no such thing as sexual consent in the West for a man anymore. I didn't even realize that until you asked me that question. I thought it was blurred because of morality. But after analyzing it, it turns out it doesn't exist at all, which is even worse. There's no such thing as sexual consent. As a man, how are you supposed to live your life? I guess you just don't talk to women at all. I guess you just don't reproduce, right? If you have no kids, you have nothing to live for. You just sit there and play video games. Be a good slave, pay your taxes. That's it. I guess that's what they want. And then they wonder why the birth rate's declining. And wonder why they have to import all these third worlders because no one has kids anymore. Well, how can you have kids if you can't have a wife? How can you have kids if you can't have sex? Everyone in this room and everyone watching this podcast exists because a man went up to a woman, said hello, and they had sex. That's what happened. Now if you even go up to a woman, you're a sexual predator. If you go up and say, excuse me, I think you're beautiful. That's why we're all here. The level of matrix attack. Do people understand what's going on here? Society is so fundamentally broken. You can't even exist as a man anymore. Your only hope, the only answer, is to be such a charming, fantastic individual that women do not want to betray you and attack you. Which I guess is an answer. I mean, it's worked for me. But you're relying on the sensibilities of other people. It's kind of a scary scenario to know that the woman you take care of and love might turn on you any moment. And she can. And she has all the benefit of the doubt. I don't know if this is true or not. I'm just going to say it. In fact, it must be true. If a woman goes into a police station and makes an accusation against a man with no evidence, 6 years ago I had sex with a man. Who? Him. I have no text messages from him. I have no video of it happening. I have no video of me going to his house. I don't remember where he lives. I don't remember the car I was in. I don't remember anything. I was drunk. But I had sex with this man, and I regret it. He raped me. Zero evidence of any kind. That man would be questioned and arrested, I'd argue. If I go into a police station and say, I was robbed, I don't remember where, I don't know what they took, I don't know when it happened, but I was robbed. They go, what do you want me to do with this? What do you mean, robbed by who? What? Well, just no evidence, just random accusations. It's scary. Then, let's go deeper down the rabbit hole. Do women hate men now? If you're going to push this feminist narrative and you're going to tell women they have to compete with men, and a woman's going to buy into that, and she's going to see herself in competition with men inside the workforce or inside society in masculine realms. Is she going to feel hateful or resentful towards men? To a degree, I'd argue she would. Because a woman in a feminine realm will destroy a man, as she should. She has all the advantages. And I'll sit here and say that women in feminine realms outperform men 100% of the time. By extension, in masculine realms, men will outperform women 100% of the time. So if you're going to try and turn women into men, what you're going to have is you're going to have short, broke, emotional men who are going to lose to big, strong, tall, stoic men. And then they're going to be resentful of the men who do better than them. And then you're going to give that resentful person power to destroy any man's life at a whim without evidence. I'm just talking out loud. I don't know. Is that scary? It is kind of scary. And then you come along and say, okay, well, we've tried to turn these women into men and they're not doing that well. So we're going to do diversity hires and hire the women over the men, even though the men outperform them. And if you look at her wrong, she can destroy your life at random. And you have to pay all your taxes, go build the roads. And you're not allowed an opinion. And if they're fat, you have to find them attractive. Otherwise, you're a misogynist. And your kids are gay, don't say anything about it. Or you go to jail. Freedom! Democracy! Don't you love we live in a free society? Isn't it great? Freedom.
It's my new book, Money Matrix.
Money Matrix. Yeah. Free society. We live in a free society. It's so free here. I feel free. Do you? Let's go deeper down the rabbit hole. Talk about Money Matrix. It just reminded me of something. How do most tech companies make money today? They give away a free product and they use your personal information.
You are the product.
You are the product. That's right. So you use Facebook or you use Instagram. You use a free product and they get personal information about you and your habits. And they take that information and they monetize it. So the logical extension of that fact would be that the more information they obtain about you, the better they will be at monetizing that information. So that means that large companies are trying their very best to know everything about you. The harder they survey you, the better their surveillance, the more profitable they will be. And companies' primary objective is to be as profitable as possible, meaning that tech companies and large companies, by extension, which are basically government, because government have their fingers in all of them, want to spy on you as much as possible. The reason they want to do that is to build a pattern of your behavior. And they use that pattern of your behavior to predict how you're going to spend money, or predict how they can make you spend money. If we show him this type of advert at this time, for this length of time, he's more likely to spend than if we don't, because of all the other millions of people who fit his profile, this was the most reactive type of advertisement. If you accept all of that to be true, then you must accept the next logical extension to that, which means if they have all this information on your patterns and how they can make money from you, they must be trying to change your patterns.
Huge news, years in the making. My brand new book that my publishers refuse to publish, Money Matrix. Beat the money system and build generational wealth. Understand the 3 main ways that the banks productize you and make money from you. You'll be able to turn that system against itself, build generational wealth and multiple streams of recurring income. It's all at moneymatrix.cash. And if you're quick, the first few hundred registrants and buyers will receive many special bonuses from me. The brand new Money Maker Summit 3-day special event. Meet me at a champagne reception. Meet me at a multi-millionaire networking dinner. Go now, moneymatrix.cash. This is huge.
They must have pattern A type of person who is worth $11.59 and pattern B type of person who is worth $9.22. How do we make the pattern B people act like the pattern A people? What do they do different? How can we change the algorithm or the app to make the pattern Bs be more like the pattern As so we can make more money? If the goal of a business is forever profit, they want to forever survey and they want an ideal customer. And if they understand your patterns of behavior, they must be trying to influence your patterns of behavior. The next logical extension to that is we're living in a world where not only are we being spied on with absolutely everything, every single thing we use is trying to change us and change how we think and change how we act.
Could we argue that's how you make your hundreds of millions? Change your people against the matrix to the free
100%. So you have me, who is particularly eloquent and concise.
Concise is one thing you are not.
Compendious. I'm good at talking, but now we have machines doing it. So we talk about the future and AI. People say, what do you think about AI? I think AI is going to change how we all think and act. I'm not worried about what the machines are going to do. I'm worried about what you're going to do. You as a person. I'm worried about what the people are going to do when the AI becomes good enough to truly turn the pattern Bs into the pattern As. How do we make all the people who understand the truth believe Andrew's a human trafficker? How do we make people believe the news again? What disaster do we need to come up with? What words do we need to type in which order? In which order do we have to show them the different articles for it to be a logical continuation in their brain for them to come to the conclusion we want them to come to? I'm not worried about what AI is going to do on its own. I'm worried about what it's going to do to all of us. Because that's how they're making money now, is by surveying us and controlling us. And yeah, I'm one man with a mouth, and I'm pretty good. But to compete against machines into the future, I'm only going to lose. So when you talk about money matrix, it just reminded me about how surveillance capitalism, I guess that's the only capitalism we have now, is surveillance capitalism. I guess I would like to, and I'm doing this on the fly, so I don't know, but what is communism? Communism is spying on absolutely everything somebody does to make sure they adhere to the correct creeds so they can make a living. Surveillance capitalism is spying on absolutely everything somebody does so you can make as much money as possible from them, but if they don't do the right things, you'll delete their ability to exist as a human. I'm sure somebody with a little bit more time than I could draw up the comparisons between surveillance capitalism and communism. Are we kind of reaching the same place? You're spied on, absolutely.
We don't even have capitalism anymore in the true definition of the word. Where do we? Where do we have free, fair markets and free competitive forces?
That's right. And if a government's primary objective every single day is to get more and more control, which is all it is, it all ends in communism anyway. Is surveillance capitalism just another path towards the same thing? Every day, the government passes new laws. Every week, every month, whatever. Have you ever seen the government take a law away? So over time, they just get more and more and more and more control. They don't take laws away, they just add new ones on top. Where does that end? If you have 100 marbles and I take one away every day, it ends at 0. It doesn't matter if it takes a while, but that's where we end up, right? So the governments are all going to try and end up with us in some form of slavery. You can call it communism, you can call it something else. But this money matrix, you talk about surveillance capitalism, I don't think that's far off communism anyway. I don't think anybody, you're right, we have no free and fair markets, we have no freedom of speech. We just talked about the freedom of society and how garbage that is. Democracy is a scam, that's a lie, because they influence and control the media, if the voting machines work. So what do we have besides God? Only God can save us now, my friend. Better start praying, because we ain't got anything else. There's nothing else to believe in. What else are you going to believe in? It's scary. Also interesting you say about the money matrix. The average person stands so little chance of being financially free. It's ridiculous how screwed most people are. They don't even know how screwed they are. You know, let me tell you something that's really hilarious. This really made me laugh out loud. I don't have Facebook because I'm banned. But I saw a Facebook post. My mom shared it with me, someone. And it was a 17-year-old who was happy that they got accepted into college. That's the biggest joke I've ever heard of. Mm-hmm. So wait, you are happy you've been accepted to give them money. Imagine I said I was accepted to buy a Big Mac. I'm trying to give them money. If you accept me, oh, thanks. So you can go to school and learn nothing. Learn nothing. You know what I love to do with people who go to uni? I love it, because I don't have a degree, right? And I'm obviously monumentally more successful than all these nerds. And every once in a while I meet somebody whose whole identity is invested in their learning. And they talk to me about how important it is. Blah, blah, blah. If you want to be a doctor or I don't want to have to point out the obvious here. If you want to be a doctor, you go to school. I get it. Okay, cool. But whenever someone's in uni, I'm like, why do you go to uni? They go, oh, because I want to learn things. I said, did you go to uni today? Yeah. What did you learn today? What do you mean? No, today. What did you learn today? They can never answer the question. It's great. Ask them. Start asking people, what did you learn today? And watch them just fumble. And then they realize, well, if I didn't learn anything on one day, I probably didn't learn anything on the week, which means I probably didn't learn anything the whole time. Whole thing's been a scam, whole waste of time. Then you get in massive monumental debt. That's the money matrix. You come out of school, you're in debt. It's over. It's over for you. You're never going to make it. You've lost the game on level 1. You lost. It's kind of interesting that I had a thought experiment with somebody, and I said, you could only get loans for school, because if you could get loans for anything you wanted, nobody would choose school. Because they can't exist in a free and fair market. They have to keep a monopoly over the ability to enslave children with debt. Otherwise, no one will choose them, because there's no value in it, and everyone knows there's no value in it. But how matrix-minded do you have to be to actually still be happy about the idea you got accepted to a college? I nearly laughed. I said, these people have no idea how all this stuff works. They don't have a clue. Rich get richer. I'm sure you understand. Poor get poorer. Inflation, inflation, inflation. That sounds like higher house prices to me. Good thing I own
the rich.
Good thing I own a bunch.
Yeah.
Sounds like higher share prices. Good thing I own a bunch of that. Oh, you can't buy groceries. I'm sure that's very hard. We don't have to worry about those things. We own all the assets. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and there's no way to stop it. And I also feel like, because I think we need God, and we talked about how messed up society is. I also feel like we're living in the last years where there's a hole in the matrix, where there's any degree of social mobility. I think we're going to end up back at feudalism. There's going to be kings. See at the top, my friend. How many Ferraris?
Enough.
Diamond watch, arguing about our diamond watches. There'll be us, and there'll be everyone else. Right now, there's still a degree of social mobility where if you're intelligent and you're perspicacious and you're indefatigable and you work hard and you manage to find a gap and you really dedicate yourself and you try your best, you can make enough money to get out. In 20 years, the rich are going to be rich and the poor are going to be poor, and it's done. It is done. Because the average price of a house is going to just continue to skyrocket. The wages are not going to follow it. You're never going to own any assets. The assets are going to be owned by all the rich people. You're going to be paying us rent. It's over. And there's another thing I find interesting, because people come to me often. The question I get asked most is, Andrew, I lack motivation. You have 10 years left to save your bloodline from eternal slavery, and you lack motivation? You are born to lose, sir. You are a loser. All of your ancestors who fought saber-toothed tigers should have just laid down and died, because they fought their best for you to be born so you could jack off the Pornhub during the last few years where you stand a chance to save your last name from eternal serfdom. You are a dickhead, and you deserve to be poor. The last thing you should lack in the mess of the world today is motivation, because you are running out of time. And I'm telling you, as a rich man who made it out, I can see the gap is closing. I can see it. So you should certainly see it. I'm above in the clouds, looking down on the hole closing in. You're down below, looking up, watching it close, and you lack motivation to build a ladder. Oh, well, maybe tomorrow. Doom-de-doom. Maybe government will save me. Maybe if I vote for the liberals, they'll give me money. Slave minds, clowns, fools. The last thing you should lack in the world today is motivation, because truly people are running out of time. And I find that extremely interesting, that not only when you go to college do you end up in a bunch of debt, not only do you end up owing a bunch of money, even worse, you waste time. You waste years for a dream. And the Matrix is very good at this. It dangles a carrot all the time. Get good GCSEs. Get good in college. Get a good degree. Then you'll be rich. Pay off your mortgage, you'll be rich. Just pay off your student loan. Don't worry, just keep working. The carrot's coming. You'll get it one day. When I was 16, when I saw the Ferrari, I knew this was a lie. I was like, there's no way that man. Next time you see a rich guy, go up to him and say, how'd you get rich? I've never heard anyone say university. Ever! I've never heard anyone say it's a lie. It's a scam. When I was 16, I saw the guy in the Ferrari. I was like, I'm going to college and he isn't. And he ain't going to work. He knows something I don't know. I knew at 16 everything they tell me was a lie. But there's still people who think they have 5 years to waste in college. 5 years. I'm 37. Let's conservatively estimate I make, for myself, $250,000 a day, let's say. 5 years ago, I was probably making 20 grand a day. That's the difference 5 years can make. 5 years. And they're gonna sit there and do what? Read a book from 22 years ago? Go party. Oh, fraternity. Bro, what's really scary is this. I'm 37. I grew up on a council estate. I was broke for most of my life. I made all my money myself. And even I have disdain for the poor. Because I look at them and go, you didn't try at all. I did it. With all of the pain I went through and all the problems I had, while also fighting and becoming a kickboxing world champion, I still managed to do it. You started at a higher bracket than me. You started from a middle income home. Your dad was, you had food. I didn't have food and I was a world champion. How did you fail so massively? And I look at them and just think of them as, you're an idiot. And if I feel that, imagine how the elites look at us. Imagine you're born into a lineage, a bloodline that have been in charge of the banks forever. Imagine how you view poor people. You think you give a shit whether they live or die? I'm talking about someone who's only been rich for 10 years. And when someone comes and complains to me about being broke, I'm like, oh, you're a dummy. You didn't even try. So imagine you were born filthy rich and your family's always been rich. And you're told about how your family's always controlled everything because you're smarter than everybody else. Imagine how much disdain the elites truly have for the common man. And I'm talking as a common man who made a little bit of money. Then you start to understand how this world's really working. Because they don't give a shit about the common man. If you say to the elites, if you pour third worlders into this nation, you will make 3% more per year. However, the common man will have to deal with crime, rape, murder, drugs, human trafficking. He'll sit there and go, I don't care about the common man. 3%. Okay. Doesn't care. Why would he care? Then you have a community where the only people who can protect it left are the men. The men who care about their daughters, care about their wives. But those men have to be masculine men, brave men. Well, they're under assault. We discussed that for the last 2 hours. So now they're afraid. All the buildings look the same anyway. Why don't we just move? Let's just move. Let's just scurry away. Then you start to lose the major cities of your nation, this hypothetical nation. The major cities start to fall. Everyone starts saying stupid things like, it's a nice country if you stay away from the cities. You know what's a nice country if you stay away from all the cities? Afghanistan. I can go hide in the forest in Afghanistan with a little tent and just sit there by myself. I'd probably be fine. I probably wouldn't get drone striked. I'm on Kabul. And they don't seem to understand this. And then they hide and they run away. And eventually they're crushed. And it's over. And the whole nation falls. And the great thing about globalists being globalists is that they have the whole globe. And then all the globalists get on a private jet with their families, fly to another place that they haven't destroyed. And they find a way to continue to profit off the burning trash heap that they just abandoned. They don't care. 3% more profit. Doesn't matter. Common man, doesn't matter. And I'm telling you that they think like this because I catch myself and I have to correct myself thinking like this. There's a guy, I get this all the time. People come up to me and say, can you make a video for my cousin? He loves you, da-da-da. And I always refuse. I don't make videos. I might make a picture, but I don't make videos. Anyway, this particular guy showed me a picture of the person. He's like, could you make a picture of my cousin? And I looked at his cousin. He must have been about 22. And he was standing in a crowd at a festival, holding a pint in a plastic glass. And my instant thought was, this guy's a dickhead. This guy's an idiot. He's 22. I guarantee he's not a billionaire. I bet if I were to sit down with him and say, how much money you got? None. Why are you there? The gap is closing. The elites hate you. You no longer have sexual consent. You're a permanent criminal in the eyes of the law. They're here to decimate you and your entire bloodline. You're 22 at the height of your capabilities, the height of your energy. You heal like Wolverine. It is Friday. Are you making money? What are you doing? Oh, there's this band. I really want to see this band. Then I guess you just deserve to lose, friend. I guess you're just an idiot. And I don't feel sorry for you. I guess you're just a dummy. And that's how I feel. So imagine how the elites feel. We're scum to these people. We are. I'm not a rich man. I'm just a poor man with loads of money. I'm from a Luton Council. I wear diamond watches, bro. You understand?
Yeah, I do.
I'm just a poor man with billions of dollars. But It's scary when you start to understand how all these things really work. And I don't think the average man at home understands this. And if you start to understand it all, the last thing you will lack is motivation. How can you lack motivation? How can an antelope in the jaws of a tiger say, I lack motivation? I'm tired. I'm horny. I want to jerk off. Bro, they're ripping out your throat in real time. You're bleeding out. Fight. Fight back. And then the tigers like me are like, oh, bro, you're going to get eaten. I'm going to eat you. That's what we're going to do. I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. It's kind of like, you probably have this problem as well. I don't know if you have this problem. Do you ever wake up and think, I don't need any more money, but there's fuck all else to do?
Yeah, every day.
Yeah, so you just end up making millions.
What's better than making something out of nothing? Financial alchemy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I wake up and go, let me do the math. If I never worked again, I could spend $422,000 a day for the rest of my life. I have all the cars. Do I need more money? No. You know, let me go have a coffee. Let me try and chill out today. And within 22 minutes, I'm back on my laptop working. There's nothing else to do. There's nothing else to do. And I can't stop myself working as a person who doesn't need money. And then there's people with no money who don't work.
Yeah.
It blows my mind, which is why the winners are winners and the losers are losers. Losers do a little bit of work and rest. Winners work as hard as possible and worry they're not working hard enough. It's just a separation of personality types. And it's almost like you can't save these people. I have something I sent in my email recently. I said, you could give the average man a brand new Ferrari and a road map and a coffee and a full tank of gas and tell him the destination, success. And halfway along the drive, he'll quit because it's too far. No matter how well you set it up for people, they'll quit. I have this the same with my online educational platform, my school. It's $49 a month. It's less than a Starbucks. And I will teach you how to make money online. You can escape the matrix, you can get out through the hole before it closes, you can be geographically free, you can live in Thailand, you can make money from your computer. It costs $49, you have absolutely nothing to lose. I made it cheap enough for everybody to be able to join. And people will sit there and go, and then put on Netflix. What more? I've given you a Ferrari, a full tank of gas, I've given you the latte, I've given you a roadmap, I've given you a hot girl to sit next to you and play songs and do selfies. I've given you everything. Just drive the car. No, yeah, it's far. I don't have motivation. Doop-de-doo. You're a loser. You are a loser. If you do not win, you lose. What do you call someone who loses? A loser. That is an underused word. Loser. My brother and I use it all the time. This person thinks this. He's a loser. What do you mean he's a loser? Look at him. He's a loser. He lost. Name a competition. I beat him at anything. Uno, marbles, a fight to the death. You name it. I'll decimate this loser. Oh, he thinks I'm a human trafficker. Oh, with the loser. Give a shit. He's a loser. All these losers out here. Another thing, and then they say, this is another thing that's amazing to me about motivation. I don't feel motivated. Newsflash, neither do I sometimes. You're not gonna always feel like doing it. You have to do it anyway because it's your duty to do it because you don't want to be a fucking loser. That's the whole point. If you felt like doing it all the time, then there would be no magic to it. The magic is that you do it regardless of how you feel. That's the whole point of it all. What do you mean you need motivation? You don't need motivation. You have a duty to not be a loser anymore because the hole in the sky is closing. $49 will give you a ladder. Well, you know, we'll play video games. Born to lose. Born to lose. And then they'll end up voting for some ridiculous party which promises them there won't be a loser anymore. And that party will hate people like me. And they'll try and put me in jail. That's what's going to happen. That's the world we currently live in. The losers party. Losers love company. They do. They vote for it. Losers love company. There are certain political parties and movements out there that convince you that being a loser is okay. And then you feel better. And you also get to blame others for your loserdom. And you feel great. You don't have to take any personal responsibility. I'm not a loser because of me. I'm a loser because they did it, or this happened. Blah, 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 blah. So they're attractive to losers. And then we end up in a situation we're currently in.
Who's better with women, Andrew Tate or Tristan Tate?
Tristan, 100%. Tristan.
Why?
I've retired, bro. I've retired. Tristan's the Mr. Ladies Man. Tristan and I are the perfect team because we're opposites. People think we're the same, but we're not. We're actually very difficult. Sorry, very different. Tristan enjoys life. Tristan enjoys life. Do I enjoy life?
Well, you say life is war.
It is war. I don't think I consciously very often enjoy anything. The things I enjoy are not fun things.
Are you enjoying this?
This is work. It's fun.
It's
I like to talk. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. But like, what would give me more satisfaction? Going to a very expensive restaurant with 10 beautiful women and popping loads of bottles of champagne and eating really great food and driving home in a fast car, or clearing all my work notifications. I think the notifications might give me a higher dopamine hit. I'll be perfectly honest with you. That's just true. Tristan would love that. Tristan would enjoy the whole thing. I'll be there.
He'd love the 10 women you mean, and you'd love the work.
The work.
Yeah.
I think you have to be smart enough to realize most things in the world are garbage, but stupid enough to enjoy the garbage. So I can put myself in a frame of mind where I'll sit at that table and I won't enjoy it, but I'll sit and say, like me stealing everyone's dreams with the cars. I'm like, this is every man's aspiration. Everyone else at this club wishes they were at this table with the most beautiful women, with the nicest cars outside, and the biggest steak and bottles of champagne, whatever. I'll sit there and I'm cognitive enough to look and say, yes, this is fun. But really, it's just because no one else can do it. Am I actually enjoying it? No. I'd rather just go home and work. I don't really care. But it has to be done just to make other people sad. My brother and I used to talk about this. It was actually, we used to say this a few years ago. Back when I used to drink. I don't drink anymore. But he'd say, are we going to the club tonight? I was like, I don't want to go. He goes, but Andrew, if we don't go, other men get girls at their tables. Because if we go, we get every single female in the club at our table. I was like, yeah, I don't want to go. And I don't want females near me, really. But do I want to give them to everyone else? No. All right, then. So maybe I'm just petty. Maybe I'm spiteful. Who knows? But we'd go just so no one else could have any fun. But Tristan enjoys life, so... And that's what I love about him, because if I want to enjoy life, I can tap into his energy, and he can tap into my energy when things need doing. And that's
like going to prison.
Like going to jail. So, that's right. That's why we're a very good team. But yeah, I'm cerebral enough to pretend to enjoy things, but if I'm actually honest, there's very little I actually enjoy. I enjoy fighting, I enjoy working, I enjoy driving fast cars competitively, like racing and stuff. Besides that, I don't care.
It's one of the best things about having the watches, the cars, and the fantasy life is understanding the reality that that is not the fantasy life.
I think the best thing about it, being honest, is that no one else can have it. I'm telling you what I enjoy. I enjoy having things other people can't have. I enjoy using finance to assert my dominance. I enjoy peacocking with my feathers. Look, ha ha ha. I enjoy...
Is that one of the more honest Andrew moments?
I'll be very honest. It's the lamentation of losers is beautiful to me. I love it. I love people complaining about the energy bill. And I'm filling up my SF90 going, yeah, it must be really hard. Oh, 200 pounds. Wow. Makes me happy. It's asserting dominance. I'm better than you. Look, I have metrics. Measurable metrics, numbers, nice and simple. You understand numbers. Is 2 more than 1? Okay, cool. Right. Billion? Unlucky. You tried your best. I love that. I think every man does. I think that male happiness comes through the feeling of superiority. I think men are happy when they feel better. I think we're naturally competitive. That's why we've always done what we've done. Why did Genghis Khan need Vienna? Bro, that's Austria. Look at a map. Why did he need Vienna? It took him probably 3 months to even hear they were at Vienna. By the time he got the message, they probably already conquered it. Why did he need it? Because he wanted it. Why do I need the stuff I have? Because other people can't have it, it's mine. And I think that that's where masculine happiness comes from, because I think men are happy when they feel respected. And you're gonna respect yourself if you look around and you have things other people don't have. It's very easy. I don't want to be called arrogant. Wait, sorry. I don't give a shit if I'm called arrogant. Because sure, there's people who say, he thinks he's so great. And I can sit and say, yeah, you're right, I think I'm so great. And I know that angers you. But let's actually measure. And I'll prove to you that I am great. I'm not trying to insult anyone. I'm not trying to be unlikable. I'm saying, I am great. Look, get the average man and the average statistics, and put my statistics next to them, put it in ChatGPT and say, which one's greater? What do you want? I enjoy that feeling. Why do I walk into the showroom and buy the 2 available cars that I don't want? Because it's one man's dream and now another man can't buy them. Now they're mine. That's just it. And I think that if every man's honest with himself, that's what every man wants. If you get away with all the Matrix garbage and all the Matrix has told you all this crap, like be humble and all this other garbage, throw it away. Why do you play sports?
To win.
To win. Why do you want to put a ball in a net more times than the other people? To show that you're better than them at putting a ball in a net. How insignificant an action. A ball in a net. Who cares? A much more significant action would be making a bunch of money, or being physically stronger, or a better fighter, or being smarter, a quicker talker, or being more well-known, more respected, more influential. That's far more important than putting a ball in the net. And you'll spend your time putting a ball in the net to prove you're better than other people. So don't sit and say that I'm a bad person for proving I'm better than everyone else by all the things I'm doing. That's masculine competition. By extension, the men who do not think like me, the losers, because you lose. If there's a game being played, and some men realize it's a battle, and some men don't realize there's a battle going on, how can they possibly win? So some of you men are waking up every day not realizing you're in a forever permanent competition with every single man around you. For everything. All of the time. And that doesn't ever cross your mind, and you wonder why you permanently lose. Well, it crosses my mind, and that's why I'm beating you. Women want the men who think this way. Women want the men who understand this, who win. That's what women want. So you can call it arrogant, you can call it egotistical. I call it winning. I call it realism. I call it realistic. And the best things about having most of the things I have is that other people can't have them. That's the bottom line of it. It's the reason why billionaires buy a bigger yacht than the billionaire next to them. They do not need an extra 20 feet of deck space. They want the biggest yacht in the harbor. It's the reason why they buy one-of-one Picassos. It's the reason why when Bugatti launch a new car with 80 units, they're all sold same day. That's why. Because winners all think the same way. And anyone who sits and goes, well, you should be more humble. I hear that sometimes. And then I look at who said it to me. And whenever someone tells me their opinion, this is a habit I give everyone at home. Whenever somebody gives you their opinion on anything, listen to the opinion and then stop and look at who told it to you. Because you never want to adopt the thinking of somebody who you don't want to be. Because their thinking made them. So whatever they believe in their mind is why they are the person they are. So if somebody sits and says to you, you should be more humble. I sit and think, okay, this is how my brain works. He believes I should be more humble. That's how his mind operates. The closer my mind operates to his mind, the more likely I am to be like him. Who is he? Well, and I'll look at the person who said that to me and say, no, thank you. No, sir, I refuse. Being humble, is that how you got to where you are? Is that how you got? No, you keep humble. I'll keep winning. And you can get. Because most people who talk about humble, all they really want is to not be reminded of how they have failed. They don't want me to make it clear to them that they have failed. They have failed. And I even think, we talk about like the normal man and the normal life, and we'll talk about that in a second, but normalcy now is being psyoped from all angles. I feel like in the 1950s, A normal man was a winner. The normal man went to a normal job and had a normal family in a normal house and a normal car and a normal life. But I feel like the normal person now is two parents working, children being raised by the Matrix in school, being bombarded with propaganda, bills barely paid, depressed, angry, anxious, watching the BBC. I feel like normalcy has been changed from being a winner to being a loser. So now being normal is just losing in a way which is so familiar to the people around you are losing that you don't realize you've lost it all, because everyone's losing. So you're like, oh, I'm just normal. No, you've all lost. You've all lost. None of you are free. You've all lost. And that's even more scary. You can't even be normal anymore. To be a winner, you have to be exceptional. You could be a winner as a normal person only 50, 60 years ago. Now the normal people can't even win because they're grinding down society, that the bracket of normal is going further and further down. And then you can, by extension, that makes it more scary, right? Because in the 1950s, I guess you could wake up and say, I just want to be a normal, law-abiding citizen. I want to be normal and I want to follow the law. And you'll have a good life and you'll be a winner. You'll be respected at home. Your wife will love you. You'll raise children. You'll be religious. You'll worship God. You'll pay your bills. Normal law-abiding. If you're a normal law-abiding person, nowadays, not only are you broke, you can't talk because it's hate speech. Like if you follow the laws now and you're just a normal law-abiding person, not only are you broke, you're matrix-minded. Listen to the BBC. Yeah, I guess we need to go bomb the Houthis. Bro, 2 weeks, now we're bombing the Houthis in Yemen. Cool. 2 weeks ago, if you were to go around around England and ask people who were the Houthis, 99.9% of people couldn't even tell you who they were. No one even knew who they were. Now we're convinced we need to blow them up. You don't even know who these people are. News told them. Normal. Well, I guess if the MPs believe, I guess it's normal I'm in debt. It's crazy. It's crazy. So, and it's normal people telling me to be humble. So this is why it doesn't enter my mind when they're like, you need to be more humble. I'm like, okay, well, you're a normal person. Here's your life. Here's what you believe. That's fine. I don't believe in that. And then I look at my life and I'm like, sorry, reject that. Now, I want to make a point here that's clear, though. I don't want men to then become delusional. Don't think you're great when you're not. Don't be delusional. Everything I've talked about here is metrics, measurable metrics, numbers. As a man, you need to live in the real world or you're not going to be competitive because we're competing in the real world. So you need to be able to do amazing things and then be proud of yourself. Don't sit and think you're great for no reason. That is arrogance. I'd argue that the normal person who thinks they're so unique and great for no reason is more arrogant than me. I was the most famous man in the world. I'm allowed to say that. It was measured. It's numbers. It's Google. So I think the best mental model as a man is to understand that you cannot be normal. You need to be exceptional. You need to do exceptional things. That ties into the exceptionally good and the exceptionally bad, like we talked earlier, which means you need to be hard on yourself so you can deal with the exceptionally bad. And if you start to do all these things, they all compound. Everything I've said across all these hours all tie into each other, and you end up in one result. You end up in one place, which is brutal competence, brutal masculine competence. There's nowhere else to be. And through that brutal masculine competence, you can also protect yourself from all the things we were talking about earlier from the Matrix. Brutal masculine competence will put you in a position of respect where your girlfriend you haven't seen in 7 years, your ex, is called, and she goes, I respect him too much to rat on him. Maybe he loves someone else now, but I just won't rat on him. I respect him. Only brutal masculine competence can save you. Law won't save you. Law's against you. Nothing will save you besides your own brutal competence.
Does money make you happy? Or happier?
I wouldn't be happy if I was broke. Money, okay, so I answered about how having things that other people can't have makes me happy. So it makes me happy for that reason.
Because it's the vehicle to it.
Because it's the vehicle to it. So that's one answer, but I'll give another answer. Money to me now is like hands. Hear me out. I use it all the time, and I'm glad I have it. I don't consciously think, I'm super glad I have hands, right? Maybe occasionally, if I see somebody without hands, I'm like, thank God I have hands. But most of the time, you just expect it to be there. You just use your hands, right? You expect it to be there. You take it for granted. If I lost my hands, I would be devastated. I don't appreciate them as much as I should. I should appreciate them more because I could lose them at any point. And that's exactly how I view money. Because if I want something, I just take it. The world for me is free. I try to explain this to people and they don't understand. I'm like, when you're as rich as me, the only way it feels is that everything is free. If I see something and I want it, I just say, yeah, I'll take that. It's free. It's like imagine there's no more prices on things. The only reason I don't take something is because I don't want it, or I don't want to deal with putting up with it or putting it somewhere because I already have so much stuff. But everything is free all the time. I go into a clothing store, I go into Louis Vuitton. Yeah, give me this, give me this. Bro, I'll go into Louis Vuitton and there's a tracksuit and I can't be bothered to try it on. I'll buy all 4 sizes and I'll work out later which one fits and I'll throw the others away. Everything's free, it doesn't matter. I don't want to take my jacket off, put it on, headache. So that's how it feels. Now, if I had to go back to being broke, I would be like, you didn't appreciate being rich nearly enough. But I'm in the NBA, so that can't happen to me. But that's how money feels. Does money make me happy? Happy. Okay, do my hands make me happy? Well, no. I don't wake up and go, I'm happy I have hands. No. But if I didn't have hands, I'd probably be a lot less happy. It's a requirement for happiness that I just expect to be there. What's interesting is, we talk about how I expect to just have money. Beautiful women expect men to just have money, even more. There's a beautiful girl I knew some years ago, blah, blah, blah. I was talking to her, and she was saying, money won't get a girl. A girl doesn't want a man for money unless she's a prostitute and it's like a purely transactional relationship. She said, money will qualify you to try. Every man I talk to has money. I'm beautiful. I would never speak to a man who has no money. In my world, all men just have money. I don't know how. Of course you have money, you're a man. That's how they view money. Beautiful girls think men just have money. Like men just have hands and legs and money. They don't care how you made it. They don't care how hard it was to make. They don't care how much stress you go through to get it. In her world, every single man she has ever replied to on Instagram ever was rich. So men just have money. And the men who don't have money don't even exist. Don't exist to her. We're sitting in a restaurant. And when we left, I said, how many men were in that restaurant? She goes, 4 or 5. It's like, no. There was 20 waiters you didn't see. There's the kitchen staff at the back you didn't see. There's the security guard and the valet out front. They're invisible to you. They don't even cross your mind. You just see the diamond watches. That's how they view the world. So you're talking about, does money make me happy? Well, yeah, I think it's a bare minimum requirement of existence. I expect to have it like I expect to have my hands. By extension, beautiful women expect you to just have money. If I sat with a beautiful girl and said, oh yeah, I can't afford that, she'd be like, what? You're a man. What do you mean you can't afford it? Like you're missing a dick or something. It's just the world we live in. It's the world we live in.
Like you're missing a dick, like you have more than one.
Well, if it's big enough, it can count for 2. But yeah, so I couldn't be happy broke, and I know I'm always going to have money, and I expect to have money all of the time. But it's like my hands. I don't know how else to explain it. It's like my hands. I don't know. I couldn't be happy without money. I don't know how a man is waking up and he's happy without money.
Well, I think I've written books on money, done a lot of exploration. I actually think the rhetoric that money doesn't make you happy and life isn't all about money is part of the propaganda of what you call the matrix in indoctrinating us to concede and just enough so that we can pay our 50% taxes and pay our interest on all of our loans, and then when we die, pay 40% of everything that we own. Because if we know that money makes us really happy, we'll go and find it, which means becoming an entrepreneur and getting out of the system, and then that is freedom.
Oh, absolutely. So I think the smartest thing the rich people ever did was convince the broke people that money doesn't make you happy. I think that's nail on the head. All the rich people are like, don't worry, guys. Don't worry. Money doesn't make you happy, guys. I'm gonna keep mine. But don't worry, it doesn't make you happy. I promise. I'm sad. Promise. You're sad? Yeah, we both are. Good luck. Biggest scam alive. Because money is freedom. It's freedom to drive what you want, eat where you want, go where you want. It's freedom to sleep with who you want. I just described it. If you want a beautiful woman, you need money. Like, Money is freedom. If you don't want to be a slave, which is...
It's freedom to say no. Money is freedom to say no.
It's freedom to talk the truth online and be put in jail and come out and still have supercars. There's a lot of men who think what I think, they can't say it, they lose their jobs. So you want to say money doesn't buy happiness, well then you're saying you're happy to be a slave, because only money is going to give you freedom. When they want to try and attack you, like they've attacked me, they take your money away on purpose. So absolutely, money's freedom to have an opinion now. So it's true. So yeah, exactly. So money absolutely is happiness, because freedom is a bare minimum requisite to happiness. Unless you're happy being a slave. And you're right about what rich people did. They tried to convince all the people at the bottom that money isn't the answer. You're never going to be more happy poor. You may as well be rich. I can't think of many scenarios where being rich was a detriment over being poor. There's not many. Even if money can't help you, you may as well have it, right? So I completely agree with you. I think money is a bare minimum requirement for happiness, especially if you're a masculine man who wants to outcompete. Then you need money, because money is basically everything. I think money is, the most important thing in the world is health, because you have nothing if you're dying. Second thing is family and friends who you love. And the third is money, because it's everything else. It's literally everything else is money. And they've convinced people, the poor people, oh yeah, he has money, but you know, I have friends and family who love me. So do I. So do I. It's like, because I have money, I don't have friends and family? I get to spend more time with my friends and family than you do, because you're working a slave job. People are psyoped into thinking that rich people are somehow lacking somewhere else. And I'm sure some of them are, but not all of them. There are some people that have everything. You're just gonna have to accept it. Some people just have it all. They have friends and family and good relationships and love their kids and a bunch of money. And if that doesn't anger you to get up and make a bunch of money, well, I don't know what will. You know, I always found the one thing that was always amazing to me, and this happened to me even just the other day. I'll be driving one of my 59 supercars. And I don't want to brag. Driving. And it's raining, and it's dark, and it's cold. And I see people at a bus stop. And I'm at the traffic light. I'm like, it's freezing, and it's raining, and it's nighttime. And you can't afford an Uber. If that won't motivate you, I don't know what will. Because the worst thing about the bus isn't the bus, it's the time you wait for the bus. Time is money. You're gonna stand there for 45 minutes in the freezing cold and waste your time to save a couple dollars on an Uber, and you don't feel panic to get rich? And you're just fine with that? And you're gonna come home, took the bus today. Bro, born to lose. Born to lose. If that won't motivate you, especially as my 5.2 liter V10 Lamborghini is humming right next to you standing there. And you're standing there with your coat on, your hood up. Lamborghini's right there. I wonder when the bus will come. It's been a while today. Bro, born to lose.
So how do you get rich then? Because whilst I agree with you, some people just don't yet know what to do.
Well, okay. So first thing I'm going to do is I will teach everyone what to do inside of my school. And I'm going to have to plug this school because it's very important. And I'll tell you why.
Plug the f*** out.
I'm going to plug it and I'll tell you why. The reason I launched my academy is not for me to make money. I was already rich. My academy exists for the reason we just discussed. If you want to be free of mind, you need to have money. Therefore, if my goal is to attack and defeat the matrix, I need people who have money who can tell the truth. If you're a fan of mine and you work a brokey job, you're no use to me because you can't speak, because you'll lose your job and you cannot feed your family. If you're a fan of mine and you're making millions of dollars, then you can tell the truth and you can back me up and support me and you can echo and you can amplify my sentiments. Therefore, I want all of my fans to make as much money as possible. I'm not a philanthropist. I'm not doing this because I care about all the people. I'm genuinely, from a selfish point of view, trying to make all of my fans as rich as possible so we can all tell the truth. That is why my academy is so cheap, so anyone can join it. And it will teach you how to make money online. So if you've sat here for hours and listened to everything I've said and agreed with all of it, and still have not joined the academy, then there's something wrong with you in your mind. Because you obviously respect my point of view and you obviously know I know what I'm talking about. And now I'm telling you I'll teach you how to get rich and you still don't join, then you're a broken person and I can't help you.
Or maybe they don't know the link.
Good point. Join the real world. You can type in the real world on Google and you'll see the link. Or go to cobratate.com, hate you, it's there and you can join. That's how I teach people to make money online. But to give a more overall answer, outside of the plug for the academy, which I'll once again reiterate, if you're not inside of, I don't know what's wrong with you. I think the easiest way to make money in the world today is to sell information. I think selling information, if you were to tell me what's the quickest way to get rich, I think providing information, or because we live in an attention economy, finding a way to solicit attention and then selling information is probably one of the easiest ways to make money in the world today. I like to argue that everybody knows something. So I like to challenge myself. So give me a normie job. Give me a normal job. Name a normie job.
Making coffee.
Making coffee, boom. You're a barista. You're a barista. Now, I'm gonna tell you how to get rich as a barista because I can think that fast off the top of my head. The problem with most people in the world today is not that they do a normal thing, it's that they do a normal thing and they don't try to be the best at it. So you can be a barista and you can just make coffees, or you can be a barista that makes the fancy coffees and can turn over all the cups and do like the tricks and all the garbage. We have a man who became a billionaire from salt.
Yes.
From salt. You can all put salt on, he did it the best. Bam. So the first thing you need to do is get very good at making coffees. That's the first thing you need to do. Be able to do it in a fancy way. Then you need to solicit attention. Well, if you can make coffees in a fancy way, and you can hire a videographer, you can then begin to make fancy coffees in a fancy way, and you can make it look good with a finalized product, and you can get a nice video made that's well cut with some fancy music. You can begin to put them on Instagram and solicit people to watch your Instagram page. Now you have attention. How do you then turn that attention into money after you began to show your fancy coffees? Well, you could, let's say, put together a course or an academy or write a book on the magic of coffee or the secrets of coffee. And you would put a mystery on it. Don't say, I'll teach you how to make coffee. No, say the secrets of coffee. And you'd have a link in your Instagram page and it would be $9 and it would tell people the secrets how to make coffee, for example. You'd start to sell that for $9. You'd make a couple hundred or a couple thousand, not too much, but you continue to make fancy coffees. People continue to go to your Instagram page. You're now selling the secrets of how to make coffee. Then, after people start knowing you as being a barista, you start to make these $9. You have $20,000, $30,000 in the bank. What you can do is launch your own coffee brand. You can go on Alibaba.com. You can find some coffee beans. You can put your face on it because your face is now a recognized brand. You can get your own coffee beans. You can begin to sell them on Instagram. Before you know it, you're making $10,000 or $15,000 a month. You can start to do tours. You can start to put posters on your Instagram or in your Instagram stories saying, I'm going to do master classes on how to make coffee, 20 people only, $1,000 each at this premium barista specialty coffee shop in London. The coffee shop will allow you to do it for free because they want people to know, get the advertising from you and your brand. You'll charge $1,000 each. That's 20 grand for a day. They teach people how to pour milk in a cup. Boom. You've got a coffee brand. You've got an online school. You're doing seminars. You were a nobody. You worked in Starbucks. You were a loser. You put in a little bit of effort. Now you drive a Ferrari. Done. By extension, anyone who does not drive a Ferrari is a lazy idiot. It is that easy to get rich in the world today if you actually try. Nobody tries. Instead, he'll go to work every day, make the coffees, go home, off. Some people are so lazy that they will work every day instead of get rich. And they think because they're working every day that they're not lazy. I'll argue you're exceptionally lazy because you're so lazy that instead of trying and thinking outside of the box, you now have to enslave yourself for eternity. That's how lazy you are. Nothing lazier than a man with a 9-to-5 because he ain't trying. The hole in the ceiling is closing. It's closing. This won't work forever, but it will work. Everything I just told you about that could work for an electrician. You could do the same thing. Teach people how to wire a plug. Who gives a shit? You'll make some money if you try. My online school teaches 18 modern wealth creation methods. Everything I just told you there is not actually inside the school. We have 18 other modern wealth creation methods. When you join, there's a quiz and it says, do you have money to invest? Most people say no. Do you have time? You either have money or time. You have one of the two. We'll turn your time into money or we'll turn your money into money. And you can join. $49 a month will teach you absolutely everything. We have hundreds of thousands of students, but it's hundreds of thousands of people who don't join and they're just destined to lose. So you ask, how can people make money? Well, let's go deeper down the rabbit hole. Let's imagine every barista who watches this now tries my idea. The winner is going to be one, the person who makes the most beautiful coffee, the person who makes the most beautiful videos, the person who works the longest, who tries the hardest, who makes the most videos, who makes his $9 Secrets of Coffee book that he sells on Amazon the best book, who gives the most value in his masterclass, who gets the best coffee beans for his coffee brand. And then it comes down to hard work. People say work smart, not hard. Disagree. Work smart and hard, because lots of people are working smart. If you have 5 people working smart and the one who works hardest, he's going to win. I work smart and hard.
Work hard on the right thing.
Absolutely. So there's no avoiding the hard work. This idea that you can work smart and not hard, I don't buy that. I believe you're going to have to work hard, but you have to work on the right thing and work smart first. If you don't work smart, you're not on the starting line. So working smart puts you on the starting line. Then you got to work hard to win the race.
Because there's a load of broke people working really hard, isn't there?
Absolutely, but they're not working smart. You need both. So then, for all the baristas who have watched this, who've decided to take that idea, which I've given you for free, you're welcome. The one of you that works hardest is going to be the one that makes the money. And then perhaps if you make a bunch of money, you can join the war room and then you can come and speak to one of us in person. And I'll say, how did you get rich? And you say, I watched your interview with Rob Moore and I stopped working in Starbucks and da-da-da-da-da. I'll say, you're welcome, you owe me a car. Ferrari, please. 34.
Are you going to launch your own crypto?
No, I'm never going to launch a crypto. I just like to f with crypto Twitter. Because crypto Twitter are full of the biggest degenerate losers on the planet. They're losers. Crypto is the only scenario I can think of where you can make a whole bunch of money while benefiting society zero. Even if you do something bad in a normal company, let's say you have a company and you get blood diamonds from Earth, that's bad. But you do something good. You know, you manage to make a woman happy with an engagement ring. You manage to make a security contractor happy by paying him a bunch of money to point the AKs at the children. You do something good for someone. Crypto's unique, where somebody can take $100 and make $1 million and benefit society 0%. They never help anyone at any point. And they never learn any lessons along the way. If you make money the way you've made money or I've made money, you learn how to speak, you learn how to deal with stress, you learn how to manage people, you learn banking, you learn taxes, you learn things. If you make a bunch of money on a crypto pump, you have learned nothing. You've learned nothing and benefited nobody. It is the lazy person's dream to buy a coin, it blow up, then be rich with no work, no net benefit to the universe. And because the world is cyclical, because there's no light without dark, because God is just, these people always end up going broke because they never learn any skills. If I lost everything today, I know how to make it all back better and faster than before because of the lessons I learned making it the first time. These people know nothing. All they know is to gamble. So they gamble again, lose more. Borrow money, gamble again, lose more. Crypto Twitter is full of degenerate losers, and I love to play games with them because they would love for me to launch a coin because it'd make a bunch of money. But the problem is, some people would make a bunch of money and a bunch of others would lose money. There's no such thing as free money. For everyone who wins, someone else must lose. If you buy a coin for $1 and sell it for $10, someone bought it at $10. If it then goes down, the person who bought it at $10 loses money. I do not want any of my fans to ever lose money in my name ever because I don't need money, so I refuse to sell out my fans for money. I am not Logan Paul. I will not do that. So, for that reason, I will never launch a crypto. Sometimes I say I'm gonna launch a crypto and I watch crypto's Twitter go into a degenerate jerk off and have a mental breakdown about how much money they can scam from others because they're lazy. These are lazy idiot people and they hide behind their little cartoon display pictures and they just want to scam money. They don't want to do any real work. And I just like to prod them because, you know, it's funny. None of them have my life, none of them have my money, none of them ever will. And the great thing about it is, imagine one of these crypto losers became a billionaire. Say he bought coin, everything went well, he became a billionaire. Great. We have the same amount of money now. Cool. I can still rip his throat out. And he's still a dork. And he still can't speak like I can speak. And he still can't go through the things I've been through. And he still can't get women the way I can. He still can't be respected when he walks down the street the way I am. He's still a nobody. Money won't save you. Money amplifies. If you're a nerd and you get rich, you become a mega nerd. If you're a G and you become rich, you become top G. A car is the simplest proof. If you see a tech dork pull up in a Lambo and gets out, skinny little dork, you're like, oh, super nerd. The Lambo makes him a bigger nerd. You see me get out at 3 in the morning, you're scared. Think I'm a drug dealer or a mob boss. It amplifies. Money will not change who you are, it will amplify who you are, which means these crypto losers, The worst thing that can happen to them is that they actually get rich, because then they become mega losers. You need the struggle to become a man. Only the pain will give you wisdom. You only want a crypto pump because you're scared of pain and you're scared of trouble and struggle. That's why you want a crypto pump in the first place. So when I talk about crypto, I'm just poking the autists. I'm just poking the idiots. You know me. I'm just having fun with them. And I'll be honest, I made a bunch of money on crypto. It's not who I am. It's not my personality. I find that amazing. Anyone who's been following me for a very long time has seen some of my OG tweets. I was in Pancake at like 40 cents, and that went up to $50 or something. I made, I don't know, $60, $70 million of crypto. But imagine that becoming your personality. What kind of loser are you to make some money from an internet digital money and then make it your profile picture and change your display name? I'm Andrew Tate. I'm a kickboxing world champion. I'm Andrew Tate. That's who I am as a man. Imagine I became Bitcoin.eth. Putting up a Bitcoin symbol. I'm a Bitcoin maximalist. That's you? That's your personality? That's everything you are? I look at these crypto influencers, man. There's some of them on YouTube. During the bull run, they were big, like crypto influencers. Bitcoin. There's one guy who yells all the time. I don't know where he's from. Bitcoin. But bro, you are never, ever, ever going to have a woman who loves you. Ever. Not truly. Not deep in her heart. Not ready to die for you. Not ready to shoot at the cops while you escape. You won't. I will, because I'm me. All you talk about is the blockchain. Nobody cares. You made a bit of money, great, fine. Why is it your personality? Get a f***ing life. Crypto Twitter is full of losers, such losers. I would argue we could line up 10,000 of them here on the street, and I would face them all in Mortal Kombat one by one. And I guarantee, I might be a little bit out of breath, when the 10,000th man falls in a lifeless pile on the floor, you will understand why I prod Crypto Twitter. Nobody's.
Probably with a cigar in your mouth, I would assume.
Power up first. Fuck them nerds and fuck the crypto influencers. They're the biggest nerds of all. Biggest nerds. I wish I knew their names. There's one guy who's always screaming. I did a video about NFTs as well. That was hilarious. There are people who spent $5 million on a JPEG, bro. On a JPEG. People were trying to get me to invest in NFTs. And I said, no, I'm morally against. So you'll make money. I don't want to make money that way. I want to make money with hardship and struggle. I'm going to run my university. I'm going to have morning meetings with my professors. I'm going to hold them accountable for teaching the students how to make millions of dollars. I'm going to have the war room. We're going to do events. It's going to be hard. I'm going to manage everyone, and we're going to put together this huge network of people who are genuinely benefiting. I do not want to make money from buying a JPEG for $1 and selling it for $2. I don't give a shit about that. I refuse. And people were saying to me, yo, but you don't understand. It's not just a JPEG, bro. It's on the blockchain, bro. And you can see on Etherscan who owns it. Sorry, bro. You are never going to be loved by a woman. Ever, ever. Never will she look at you with desire. She'll look at you and go, I guess I kind of have to. It's been a few months. He does pay the rent. That's the best you can hope for with your internet coins. And this is from someone who's made money with crypto. I have never sat. You know what I find amazing about crypto? When I was making millions and millions of dollars with crypto, I never sat there and tried to convince anyone else. Crypto guys can't help this. I'd sit down at a table. Let's say Bitcoin had just pumped and I made $20 million. So I go, what do you think about Bitcoin? I go, buy it if you want. That's it. You ask a crypto guy about Bitcoin. Now I'm talking to someone with over 1,000 Bitcoin. If someone asks me about Bitcoin now, I have over 1,000. Someone says, what do you think about Bitcoin? I say, you can buy it if you want, it's an investment. That's the end. Ask someone with 1.4 Bitcoin about Bitcoin. Whoa! The money's a scam because of the blockchain. Nakamoto, Satoshi. Shut the fuck up. You're broke. You're broke. You're broke. Nobody cares. Buy new shoes. Your shoes are all dirty. Tie your shoelaces. These losers have so much to say and no money. I don't understand. Why are you trying to convince someone else to buy Bitcoin? You have no money. Go get a job. Get a job. I think, I don't know. I'm someone with loads of crypto, and someone goes, what do you think about crypto? I said, I don't know. Do what you want. Because if I tell them to buy and it goes up, they won't give me any money. And if it goes down, they'll cry their eyes out. So why am I even talking to this person? Nothing to do with me. Do what you want. Make your own decisions. You're a full-grown man. Whenever I see a brokey, where was I? I was in, I think it was Miami. And they had one of these Bitcoin conventions or something, crypto things. And I was in my blacked out Escalade with my private security with their guns, of course. And I knew it was going on. I was like, just pull up outside. We're driving around Miami. We pulled up outside. And I just sat there for like 5 minutes watching the people going in. Imagine this. Imagine you're watching this right now and you're a Bitcoin dork. And you went to an event in Miami about 1.5 years ago. You might have only been a few meters away from Top G. I might have been watching you. You were walking in and out, and I was sitting in that black Escalade, looking out the tinted window. I just looked at all these people, and I just thought, man, loser, 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 loser. Let's go, guys. Losers.
So that's a no, yeah? That's a no.
Sorry, crypto Twitter. You know what the funniest thing is? I'm not done with these nerds. Funniest thing is this. The best thing a crypto dork could do if he made money would be invest in himself. Because he's a nerd with money now, right? So like, look at Zuckerberg. He's doing jujitsu, he's training. He's realized that money cannot make up for all his obvious deficiencies, so he has to invest in himself. The problem is crypto's made them money so easily, they're not used to struggle or hardship, so they're not even gonna be able to invest in themselves. If I was a crypto dork and I made money, I would message me, Andrew Tate, and say, I'm a loser, but I'm super rich. I'll pay you $1 million a day to teach me how to speak like you, and teach me how to fight, and make me train, please. But they haven't even got they're not even smart enough to look at themselves in the mirror and realize that's what they should do with the money. You know what they'll do with the money? Buy a car, buy a Gucci t-shirt, says Gucci, Gucci. Then they'll buy an NFT so they can brag to their other nerds. I've got the Bored Ape 3.2 board. Bro, get a life. Then they'll hire some hookers, sniff some coke, then they'll spend it all. Then they'll try and gamble again. Losers. If they would have invested in themselves, at least they'd become somebody. Upgrade your character in the video game of life. We're living in a simulation. Upgrade your character, become a superhero. As the levels of life go on, the bosses get harder and harder to beat. That's why you have to upgrade your character. That's the whole point of it. No. Nerds. I will never launch a crypto ever for that reason, because I don't want to have anything to do with these dorks. Also, another reason, I'm not done.
I'm not stopping you.
When you have hundreds of millions of dollars, you're not interested in these super huge pumps. Super huge pumps are for brokies. I'm happy to buy Bitcoin and make a 10% return. If I put in 100 million and make a 10% return, it's fine. Why would I take a risk? The only reason these people want to turn $100 into $1 million is because they're poor, which means they have to take the biggest gambles. I don't need to gamble. I'm Bitcoin ETH, I'm done. I don't need to gamble this junk. So I will never launch a coin. I will never sell out my fans. We have the real world, which will teach you how to make money for real. We have the war room, which will give you the masculine brotherhood you need to resist oppression. That is it. I don't need to launch anything else.
So we've talked about cars, money, watches, and assets. We've talked about crypto, and all of this goes round to me thinking there's one way that trumps all of them that you've made money. And it's also how I've made a few £100 million in sales, and that is through speaking, through your voice, your energy, your personality that you articulate in such a way that you can move hearts and minds and create a movement and get people to change and pay you for that change.
I agree with you.
A transfer of energy from where they were to where they want to go. And inspiring them to see a better future. And when people can see a better future in themselves, they'll pay the person who can take them there.
Yeah.
And that's made you, maybe that's made you the billionaire.
Yes, you're right, it has. But I would argue that it's struggle that made me a billionaire, because it's struggle that taught me the lessons. And then I learned to articulate the lessons in a way people can understand.
So that's the vehicle.
Yeah, struggle's always been the vehicle for man.
Right.
If you
or is the struggle the engine?
Yes. You know what's a perfect example? If you watch any, I've noticed this, it's an observation of mine. If you watch any superhero movie, bad things happen to him. Then he becomes a superhero. Every time. Batman's parents died, he gets to become a superhero. So I think that's pretty obvious in the masculine frame. Bad things have to happen to you for you to become a superhero.
But then bad things have to happen, but that breaks most people, and you have to figure out how to turn that into good.
Correct, absolutely. And that's also why you have to be hard on yourself, but that's also why you need to see bad things as a blessing, because they're the building blocks to make you the man you want to be. When people say to me, this bad thing happened to me, I say, good. That's my instant response. This girl left me, good. I lost all my money, good. What do you mean good? Good. This is your chance to take all of that negative emotion, all of those building blocks, and turn yourself into a man that prevents these bad things happening to them ever again. Now, of course, you have to have the agency to do that. You're right. If you're going to be broken by it, then you're going to fail. But bad things are certainly a blessing. I believe that's how God teaches. I would actually argue that men only learn through pain. I think we only learn that way. I don't think men know how to learn the easy way. I can speak for myself. How many times, men are pretty simple. We'll cheat on our girl and almost lose her, and we'll cheat on our girl and almost lose her, and we'll cheat on our girl and almost lose her, and we'll cheat on our girl and almost lose her, and then we'll cheat on our girl and she'll leave, and we'll be like, oh, we had our chances. We won't take them. This is how we are. We'll drive that car and almost crash 100 times. It's only after we plow it into a tree that we'll learn a lesson.
Do you know we have our board meetings, and whenever things are going well, we never really thrash it out. We only thrash it out when things are not going well that
Always,
way.
always,
Yeah.
always. That's how we are. We learn through pain and suffering, which is why God gives it to us, because God is here to teach us. God is like a father, and a father teaches you, I believe, through pain. If a dad wants to teach you how to ride a bike, he puts you on the bike, lets you fall off and get hurt, puts you back on the bike. Over and over and over until you can ride the bike. God does the same thing.
You don't get the lessons you want, you get the lessons you
need. Absolutely agree. So I believe that bad things happening to you are a fantastic thing. I believe you need to be strong enough to deal with them and then articulate them. I do find it amazing that a lot of people can't speak well. I find that truly amazing. If you don't have the ability to project your thoughts to other people, I don't know how you're going to be successful in life. The reason I refuse to learn another language is because I haven't learned English yet. There's words I don't know. And English is the most profitable language for me to know. So I'm going to learn English. If I want to spend time learning a language, I'll read the English dictionary. I'm not going to learn another language and start stuttering like a dummy. But there are people who've been speaking English their entire life and they can't even speak it. It's actually a pet peeve of mine. You know when you said earlier about being rich allows you to say no? I'm going to be very honest. I am the worst person to pitch to. I get people trying to pitch me for business and I'm the worst. Because if you're a vegan, no. If you turn up in a Prius or a Tesla, no. No, I have nothing against Tesla. Don't ban me, Elon. But if somebody cannot project their ideas to me succinctly, I instantly just dislike them. Because maybe I have ADHD, maybe I'm too busy, I don't know what it is, but I don't have time for your ums and ahs. I don't have time for it. So if I'm sitting in a meeting and somebody goes, we're gonna start with, and this is how people speak. You're a full-grown man, and you can't finish a sentence without saying or ah in the only language you know. You've been speaking it for 40 years. It bothers me. It's a pet peeve of mine. It irks me. Occasionally, we make mistakes. Fine, whatever. But if you actually listened to most people speak, that's how most people communicate with the world. You wonder why you can't convince a girl to sleep with you? Your tits are nice. Dummy! You're a dummy! No wonder you can't make any money. You're an idiot. This is people. They're umming and ahhing their way through life. It bothers me. When people come to pitch me, if they say or ah too much in the first sentence, it's over. I'm like, sorry, sir. When you learn to talk English, when you learn to speak, I might give you another chance. Goodbye. So you're right. The ability to project the thoughts inside of your mind in a way that other people can digest and is also entertaining is massively a superpower. How do you develop that superpower? It's not through practice. People think it's practice. Practice doesn't make perfect. Because
you can practice a really bad habit and get really good at a really shit thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The person who ums and ahs at 48 has been practicing his whole life. He's practiced just fine.
He's great at that.
He's great. Feedback is what's important. You have to analyze. I'll give you an example. When I was playing chess as a kid, I would play chess for 2 hours a day training under my father. 1 hour would be play, 1 hour would be going back through the games and analyzing the games. I always enjoyed playing, but I hated analyzing. But it was the analysis that made me better. And I can prove that now because when I was 8 or 9, I think my rating was around 1,500. Now, I've been playing Blitz. I play 3-minute chess online for 20 years, ever since I was a child, and my rating is 1,700. I've gotten no better in 20 years because I don't watch my games back, I don't analyze them, I don't look where I made mistakes, I just play. That's the problem. So when people speak, they just speak. They don't watch themselves back. I'm going to watch this podcast 10 times. I'm going to identify every single time I stuttered or made a mistake or didn't use the word I should have used. And then people are going to ask me, how do I speak the way I speak? Why do my podcasts get the most views? Because I'm a professional. And if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it properly. That's why. Most people will do a podcast and they'll just sit there and they'll just talk shit and then they'll finish it and they'll go on with their brokey day and be a brokey. But it's very interesting what you said about speech because that also ties back to my current predicament. This is the first time in my adult life I can't use my superpower because my superpower is talking. If you were to put me in front of someone and give me an hour to convince them that I could rip out their throat with my little finger, I guarantee by the end they'd be afraid. We both know I probably couldn't. But by the end, part of them would think, he's competent. I can't talk in court because I don't speak Romanian. It's very weird for me. I became acutely aware of my superpower because I'm going through this process and my lawyer's talking, blah, blah. And I'm like, why am I so frustrated with all of this? And one day it dawned on me, I don't get to talk. When I get to talk, this is how much of a superpower speaking is. When I get to talk, it's fine. I could have talked the ocean out of freezing me to death on the Titanic. I could have literally said, listen, bro, my unmatched perspicacity, but I could have ran my mouth and I would have, it would have warmed up for me. I'm that guy. I can't talk now. So it's very frustrating. So it's interesting you say how it's a superpower. It certainly is because I've even realized it in this current predicament. I mean, how important it is to be able to speak.
And when you've lost it, because you've lost it, like if you lost your hands.
Yeah. That's right, exactly, because I've lost it. And the fact there are people going through the world today who want to be successful and want to have all these amazing things, and they only speak English, and they communicate in English, and they try and get other people to understand their ideas in English, and they can't speak English. Born to lose. Born to lose.
On a recent live I did, I pissed a fucking lot of people off because I said that ADHD doesn't exist.
Okay.
Do you think ADHD exists as a concept, or do you think it's something sold to us by Big Pharma?
I don't think it exists. I agree with you. And I'm going to say there may be some very extreme examples of somebody who may have ADHD. But like everything in the world today now, it's been so massively overprescribed that it's lost all meaning. Like we talked about rape earlier. Over-accused loses meaning. ADHD is overprescribed, lost all meaning. Along with basically every mental illness. It's overprescribed, so it means nothing anymore. I watched a show once about a kid. I don't think he had ADHD. Maybe he did. Or maybe he had autism. I don't know what he had. Something. And he had to walk down the stairs in a particular order. Skip the first step, hop on the second step, turn backwards, walk 3 steps, some weird order for his stairs. If he didn't, when he got in the car, he'd have a temper tantrum, and his parents had to take him back in for him to walk the stairs. And I remember sitting with a girl there saying, this is garbage. That kid needs discipline. And the woman said to me, oh, maybe he has ADHD, maybe he has autism, you don't understand everything, you're not a psychiatrist, you're not a therapist, blah, blah, blah. And I turned to her and said, I have never seen an African child who has to walk 10 miles for water, doing the walk twice because they missed a step. Ever. If it was a disease, that's exactly what you'd see. You'd see African kids walking backwards and doing a hop and doing the walk twice because they missed a step. Never seems to happen, does it? So it's not a disease, is it? It's idiot parents with a spoiled kid. And I would argue that ADHD is pretty much the same in most cases. Oh, he doesn't want to listen, he has ADHD. No, you have no control of your child. That's the first thing. The second thing, of course he has ADHD when he's sitting on a tablet playing video games all day. And now he has to go to school and read a boring book. He's bored, as I would be. Of course he is. The only thing that's going to keep him doing something that bores him is discipline, and you don't discipline your little kid. So no, he hasn't got ADHD. You're a crap parent. How about that? I would have loved to tell my father that I can't play chess because I have ADHD. I would have loved
Did you
to
got the best
see
lesson?
the reaction. Because there were times I didn't want to play chess, but I had to play chess because I understood that there are some forces of nature which you cannot argue against. When a hurricane comes, there's not much you can do. And when your father says to play chess, there's not much you can do besides obey, unless you want to be destroyed. So I understood. I would have loved to see his reaction. Dad, I have ADHD. Teacher says I have ADHD. Bro, I don't know if I'd be sitting here alive. But I was raised in a disciplinarian household. And I would love for my children to try that crap with me. Try it. I guarantee my kids will not have ADHD. I'll say it here on camera. I won't allow them to. I won't allow them to. Now, like I said, I'm sure there's extreme examples, but I think most of it is just overdiagnosed lack of discipline. Like everything else in the world. Thyroid, no. Overdiagnosed lack of discipline. That's all it is. Depression, no. Overdiagnosed lack of discipline. Discipline will fix your thyroid issue because you'll stop shoving cake down your face. And discipline will fix your depression because you'll become such a monumentally successful person you're not depressed anymore. And it'll fix your ADHD because you do what you're supposed to do, not because you want to do it, not because you're motivated to do it, but because you have to do it, so you're going to do it. That's how it works. That's all it is. We lack discipline in the world today. And there are certain nations where they don't lack discipline, and for some reason, all of these illnesses don't exist. If they're an illness, why are they not universal across the human condition? Why could the kids in China go to school and listen in school, but the kids in America can't if it's a disease? Genuine question to all the psychiatrists who are making a bunch of money and Big Pharma who are making a bunch of money. Someone answer me. Why can the Chinese kids listen to the teacher? And why can't the American kids listen to the teacher if it's a disease that comes out of nowhere? I'll tell you why. You could get your ass whooped in one place and another you won't. I remember, I love my father with all my heart, but I remember his favorite saying was so brutally simple. It used to frustrate me when I was young, but it was true. I don't negotiate with children. Done. Can I have this candy? No. Why? I don't negotiate with children. And if I asked again, I got my ass kicked. That was it. Now I'm a full-grown man. I think, yeah, I don't negotiate. Imagine me negotiating with a kid. Top G, it's a child here. If you're good today and you don't make a mess, I'll give you some candy. I have to do a business deal with a 6-year-old. I have to do a business deal with a toddler. Like a dummy. If you want to sleep in a house and you want to eat food, you're going to do as I say, because I raise you. And people can come along and call me all these names, and blah, blah, and what how he does is bad. Da, da. All I'm talking about is the basic discipline that everyone had only 20 years ago. We built the pyramids, we went to the moon, we built New York City and Mumbai and Tokyo and conquered the entire world with discipline. We did fine. The kids became adults and everything was okay. Telling a kid it's not in charge of you does not damage the kid. This new world thing is that the kid's in charge of the parent. Well, the kid feels and the kid thinks. The kid is 6. I don't give a shit what the kid feels and thinks. The kid is 6. I am 37. I am smarter. So no, and I do not negotiate with children. They will obey me blindly. And you know what? Some liberal idiot is going to take this clip and they're going to put it on Twitter and say, Andrew's abusive to his kid.
And then you'll just get bigger.
I'll get bigger. Like a dummy. And I cannot wait, because the world is cyclical, God is just, for the day to come when their little loser offspring with their huge list of mental illnesses is failing in life in 30 years from now. And little Andrew Tate is driving his Bugatti, one of 10. And their little loser offspring get to look at my winner offspring. And perhaps if I'm still alive and that liberal idiot is still alive, I can inbox them on Twitter and say, you failed as a parent. Told you. And I'm petty enough to do that, so I will.
How many kids do you have?
It's confidential.
But if the amount you say is not putting any of them in any risk, is it?
Depends. What if they want to annihilate my entire bloodline?
Well, but the more kids you have, the harder that is for them.
Correct. And if they don't know how many there are, it's even harder.
Is it more than 5?
It's more than 5.
Is it more than 10?
I can't give you any more information than that, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Well, I respect that, but I've still got to do my job.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. But yeah, you know, because perhaps after they assassinate me, they might go for the future saviors of Earth. It's like John Connor.
Is that why you're having so many kids? Because the bloodline, the Tate surname.
This is an interesting conversation. We might disagree on this one. I think it's the masculine imperative to have as many kids as possible. And I think the only reason men don't have a bunch of kids with a bunch of women is because they're afraid of their woman getting mad at them and yelling at them. I think that men, if you were to be honest with yourselves in the mirror, you would say, I want a bunch of kids with a bunch of beautiful women. But they don't, because they meet one woman who they love, which is fine. And they know that if they have more than one woman to have kids from, they have kids outside of their marriage, it's going to upset their wife, which is fine. I'm not hating on them. I'm saying that it's not what they want. They're allowing the woman's feelings to trump their biological imperative, which again is fine. But then you have to sit and think, is my bloodline and my biological imperative and my offspring and my dynasty less important than the feelings of a crying woman who I pay her bills anyway? I don't know, is it?
But in 1,000 years, your bloodline will be gone, or in 1,000,000 years, your bloodline will be gone, or in
Disagree.
In 100 million years, your bloodline will be gone.
Tates will always exist into eternity, masters of Aikido. And I will make sure that is true. So, as a man, you have to weigh up. You have to sit and say, okay, I want as many children as possible from beautiful women because I want to recreate as much as possible because that's my masculine imperative. However, it's going to upset the woman who I love, so I'm going to allow her feelings to be more important than my dynasty. I understand why most men make that decision, but then you have to sit and say, well, perhaps if you're in a situation where you're a billionaire and you can financially take care of all these children and all these families, and perhaps if you believe that you're going to raise the children to resist the matrix and they're going to be future freedom fighters, perhaps you having as many as possible is even more important. Perhaps now it's actually imperative that it is more important than the female's feelings. Even if the woman has a mental breakdown, even if she cries her eyes out, even if she says, why do you have kids with all those chicks? Why is she pregnant again? I have to save the world.
So do you, okay, so I get that. So the wives and the girlfriends, do they all know this is what you're doing?
Well, they're watching this. Love you. No, I'm talking hypothetically.
No, you're not.
I am.
You're not.
I'm saying, would I be a man in my heart if I allowed a woman's feelings to try to trump my biological incentives and my ability to save humanity into the future and my dynasty and my bloodline? Because one woman whose bills I pay is going to get sad about it. What is the logical decision as a man? Baby, it's okay. You're my favorite. Yeah, she has a kid, but you're my favorite. Here's a Bentley. And then, you know? The problem is, this is basically all women's fault. Because women are slow. If men grew babies, it would take 2 weeks. 9 months to make a single baby. And you're worried about me having them with someone else. Well, if you get it done, if you gave me 1 a week, we'd be fine. That's 52 a year. That's enough. If you're going to tell me that across 5 years, the best I'm going to get is 3 little babies, sounds like a skill issue.
Are you going to fight Jake Paul?
Nah.
Come on.
It would be interesting. It should have happened 3 or 4 years ago when I first called him out, but I have other fights going on, unfortunately.
Okay, so let's say you could get out of Romania and there's a logistical way you could fight Jake Paul. Would you fight Jake Paul? Or Logan Paul? Or Jake and Logan, you and Tristan?
I'd take Jake and Logan the same night. You know what? It's kind of...
You must be f***ing tempted.
But then tempted for what? I don't need money. I don't need fame. I'm the A side. I'm more famous than them. I'm richer than them. Jake's actually a nice guy. I have nothing against Jake. I don't know Logan. I spoke to Jake. I know this is going to sound crazy. my credentials are based on my physical capability, and they exist. Up till about 3 or 4 years ago, because I did a video calling out Jake Paul 3 or 4 years ago. Up to about 3 or 4 years ago, I still walked around on the street by myself. And I knew that I could deal with 99% of problems myself. But then something changed, and I'm not sure what it was. I don't know if I'm getting old, I don't know what it was. But now I kind of see fighting as below me. And I'm glad I did it. And it's a huge part of my personality, and I'm glad I can still do it. Make no mistakes. I can still do it. But now I think, now I don't go anywhere without 5 armed goons. I just feel like I don't need to get I'm a billionaire now. My hands are clean, and just shoot him. I can't explain. Something's changed mentally. It's like the mafia mentality's changed. I've gone from the hitman to the guy who calls the hits. That's how I feel. Mm. And every time people mention this fight, they say, you can make $10 million. And I just think, 10 million, bro. I made that yesterday. I didn't even get out of bed. 10 million to train.
It's 2 of your cars.
Bro, it's pennies to me. It's not even worth it.
But I think you could make a lot more than that, though.
Yeah, of course I could. And I'd spark them. But I feel like it gives them more credibility than it gives me.
Yeah, but didn't you say earlier, you like to be able to do what other people can't? So wouldn't there just be some pleasure in it? In superiority?
Of course, but when you've had 80-something fights, it's not like I haven't been there, done it. Mm. Listen, it's not completely off the table, but as things currently stand, with my Matrix attack, the fact I'm going to end up back in jail, the fact that I want my car collection back, I want my money back. Like, this is another
bigger fight.
I've got 3 or 4 years of legal battles to worry about, and then by then I'll be 42. I think just the divine timing wasn't right. If it wasn't for this Matrix attack, 100% it would have happened, I think. Mm. I think it would have happened this year. But the Matrix attack came, and it is what it is. But I'd love to go against Jake. Jake's a really nice guy. Logan, I don't know Logan. He spoke shit, but he's just jealous I'm more relevant than him in this life. Mm.
So Jordan Peterson called you reprehensible. And only losers...
Wait, stop. Wait. My heart is broken, please.
Only losers love Andrew Tate.
Oh, my heart is broken. Oh, no, not Jordan. Not Jordan Peterson. Never cleaning my room again. Give a shit. Who cares? You know what? I don't watch any... You know what I find really great? These nerds, both conservatives and liberal alike, because they're all nerds. They make videos trying to take me down. I think it's so funny. Imagine spending 4 hours editing a video. Interesting. I don't watch it. I'm busy. I don't know what they say, and I don't care, and I don't watch it. I have no idea what they say. Cool. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I have nothing against Jordan. I'm not emotional about these things. I genuinely have nothing against Jordan. I could sit and argue with Jordan. I could enter the cage and beat the shit out of him, or I could shake his hand and be his best friend. Whatever he wants, I don't care. Mm. What do you want to do, friend? Hi, Jordan. You want to fight to the death? Or do you want to speak on the same stage, on the same side? Or do you want to debate? Or what do you want? I'm not emotional about this. It's no big deal to me.
Could a good, thorough debate between you two be something that would be a
I think it would be boring.
Challenge?
I think it would be boring. Because I think we agree on most things.
Right.
I think we agree on everything. And I don't think there'd be a debate because we don't actually disagree. The only disagreement is that I think, and again, this is as someone who's watched very little of his work, but I see clips, etc. He's very intelligent and speaks from a philosophical thought point of view. I think he's very in his mind. There's a lot of thinking. And I am very action-based, and there's a lot of action. I feel like if there's a problem, his answer will be to think certain ways, and my answer will be to do certain things. I always believe in action over everything. I don't believe in stopping and thinking and reading a book from a psychiatrist and pondering why I decided to fuck that girl. Go out, get chicks, boom, get to it. So I feel like he's far more thought-based, I'm far more action-based. Perhaps we could argue about the methods towards success for that reason. But all in all, I think we agree on most things. The only thing I've ever genuinely disagreed with him about was his tweet on Israel. And Ben Shapiro, I don't know how he reaches the keyboard. He must have he's down here somewhere in his booster seat. He was typing. Yeah, go to war, yeah, go to war. But he's such a nerd. Both of them were the things they said about Israel I thought were reprehensible. That's the only time Jordan said anything I truly disagreed with. Do I think I'm gonna let him off here. Do I think he's evil? No, I think he just emotionally reacted to a situation without thinking, and I think he understands how it looks and he regrets it, and we all make mistakes, so I don't hold it against him. But I have nothing against Jordan Peterson. I think if you listen to Jordan Peterson, you're gonna be a better person overall. He probably dislikes me. And I understand why he dislikes me. He dislikes me because he thinks, oh, Andrew was a pimp, blah, blah, blah. You know what's funny? We're talking about this whole pimp thing. I'm from a Luton council estate. My neighbor's house got raided for drugs like 4 times, right? People around me were stabbed to death. The cars in the car park of my school, the teachers' cars, were set on fire. Most of the people I went to school with are in jail, or sold drugs, or murdered people. I'm from the lowest echelon of society in the UK. Before that, I grew up in Gary, Indiana, the murder capital of America. My mother and father split up. I moved to England on my own, single mother household, raised on the council's estate. Everyone watches Top Boy. Everyone watches these shows where people from this socioeconomic background sell drugs. Everyone gets it, it's fine. When you're from the bottom, you have to find a way out. The way I found out, didn't kill grandmas, didn't rob houses, didn't break into cars, didn't sell drugs, didn't do any of the horrible things that everyone does every single day. What did I do was drive traffic to web pages for girls who were already doing OnlyFans and webcam work. Like a dork, like a nerd, I found a technical way to drive traffic to web pages and escaped the ghetto without mugging anybody, without grabbing anyone up and putting a knife to their throat, nothing. Then these morally pure, white picket fenced, middle-class conservatives who grew up in a household where there was always food on the table, who've never seen struggle, sit and say, he's a bad person. If you're from the streets, you'd understand I've done nothing compared to what I could have done. And the fact that they attack me for it shows how detached they are from reality. And that is why they'll never have the fan base I have, because I can speak to the people at the top and the bottom. If you're gonna sit there being raised in a happy middle-class household with food on the table and 2 Christian parents who love each other very much, getting read little bedtime stories, and then you wanna sit and tell people from the streets they shouldn't ever drive traffic to a website to escape the ghetto, then you sound like an idiot. Did what I had to do to get out. Jay-Z sold crack to get out. Now he's a rapper. Who holds that against him? It's worse than driving traffic to a website, I would argue. Nobody. They're just jealous of my monumental success, but there's no light without dark. The reason I'm monumentally successful is because I had to go through those times. That's why they dislike me. That's why Jordan says, Andrew is reprehensible.
I'm just going to tell you, I could sit here all day. And I think you probably could as well.
There's always someone for me to make fun of, friend. Give me a name. Give me a name.
Nah, but let's do some quick fire.
Sure.
Okay, what shocks you about your rise to infamy?
I wouldn't say anything shocked me about it. That's a very good question. Am I arrogant to think it was always going to happen and I deserve it? No, I deserve it because I'm so great, but I deserve it because I'm brave enough to help other people. I think God gave it to me because I'm here to help other people. I genuinely believe God gave it to me so that I could run TatePledge.com and feed starving children, help people escape the matrix before the hole in the cloud closes, save people from depression by explaining to them that nobody cares. I believe I have a purpose. I believe that's why it was given to me. I think it's interesting now that I feel like fame has changed. I don't feel like there's very many famous people anymore. You know, in the 90s or the 80s, Hulk Hogan was famous.
Hulk Hogan.
He was everywhere.
Yeah, Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson, everywhere. I feel like maybe I'm one of the last true superstars on earth. I think who's as famous as me, and I can't think of anyone. Like, you can name a rapper, and I guarantee if that rapper walked down the street in Mumbai or Bucharest or Tokyo, he'd get approached less than me. Maybe in America he might be known. But like global, world fame, I can't go anywhere. I can't go anywhere without being swarmed. Anywhere. I was in Slovenia when that video was made with the thousands of people around the Bugatti. I can't go anywhere. I don't know if anyone's even famous anymore. But I feel like I've only got it to try and help people. I think that's what I have to do. That's why I have to tell the truth. I'm not shocked by how I've been attacked for it. I guess the true answer is I'm shocked I'm still here. I'm shocked they haven't got rid of me yet. I am shocked by that. If you were to ask me before I was famous, how long can you be famous and really tell the truth? I would have said, because I'm a professional, I would have said, how famous? The most famous man in the world. Tell the truth to who? To everybody, especially the military-age males, the number one demographic they need to psyop, to die in the army, and to work their ass off as the backbone of the slave force while having no rights. I would have said, a couple months. There's no way they're going to let me. They're going to let you for years just talk and wake up people's minds. Once they're awake, they ain't going back. And they would have said, how do you get rid of him? I probably would have said, well, you delete him from everything. What if he doesn't get deleted? Well, you put him in jail. What if he gets out of jail? Well, then you kill him. I'm surprised I'm still here. Surprised we're filming. It's been years now. Everything's a lie. It's all a lie. Don't believe it. Everything they tell you is a lie. Money doesn't work the way they tell you it works. School doesn't work the way they tell you it works. The things they tell you to do to get rich, like get a mortgage and just pay that off after you pay off all your student debts, is never going to make you rich. Everything about geopolitics is a lie. We don't need to kill all the people in Yemen for no reason. It's all a lie. It's all an attack on your masculinity. It's all a lie. They haven't killed me yet.
How do you show love?
To who? To a girlfriend, to my brother, to my children, how? To who? To the world? To myself?
Yeah, I have to say I thought that was a good question.
It was a good question.
You're proving that yours was a better one.
I'm just a professional, sir, and I like to have specifics to work with.
Yeah, sometimes. Or you do an hour's rant on, you know.
I can start.
Yeah.
I start ranting if you like,
Yeah.
but then I'll just go through them all one by one.
No, I didn't think it in that context, and I'm going to. Not girlfriends, not brother. How do you show love to friends and family?
I think you show love through...
No, how do you?
Okay,
Yeah.
I show love to friends and family by being brutally competent. I think a man who is not useful isn't ever going to be loved. And I think you have to give love to receive love. For me to love someone, I want them to love me. For them to love me, I have to be useful as a man. I think men that are not useful are not loved by anybody, whether it's their girlfriend or society or other men. If I had a brother and I said to him, I need help with this, and he said, dunno, can't, tired, well, then what's the point of you? If a wife asked her husband to fix a problem and he goes, dunno, can't, tired, she wouldn't love him anymore. Useless men who are not useful, are not loved. As a man, you're never truly loved for who you are. You're loved for how useful you are. And they'll lie to you about this, especially women. I'd love you even if you were a useless loser. Then why aren't you with a useless loser? You always seem to be with the winner. Isn't that funny? You're loved for how useful you are. So if I want to show love to my friends and family, I want them to love me, which means I have to be ultimately useful. That's how I show love.
And is that how you show love to women?
Yeah, I'm the guy people call when they have a problem. If you end up with one phone call, whether you're kidnapped, arrested, trapped under rubble, whatever it is, and you can call one person, you call Andrew Tate. If you have my number, if you're fortunate enough, you call me. I'm the problem solver. They love me. I'd love people who could fix all my problems. If I had a number I could call to get rid of this Matrix attack, I'd love that guy too. Of course. I fix everyone's issues. If you need $10 million, you call me. So for that reason, I'm loved. And the way I can show love to them is always being able to fix their problems. If you're a man and you love the people around you, you better get as strong and rich and competent as possible to show it. If you're a weak, useless man, how can you even show love? Hugs? You're weak and useless. They don't want your hugs. You're slimy. If you're a man and you want to show love to people, you need to show it through competence. I don't know how a man who has no constitution about him can even show love, because that's how love is shown. Love is shown via protection, physical, protection, which can be helping them make the right decisions, which comes from wisdom, finance. You show love by giving them money so they're protected. My woman will not have to wait at a bus stop where she could be attacked. She'll get picked up by armed guards in a Rolls Royce. All that requires my competence to show love. If I was incompetent, how could I even show love? Hold hands, hug, boop, 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 boop. Problem with that is...
Do you hug people?
Of course, but the problem is with a hug from a guy without competence isn't scarce, it's not rare.
It's needy.
Well, it's not
more
even
like a needy, I want your energy out of you.
And it's easy to find. And it's only the scarcity of something that gives it value. If you're a normal dude, the biggest problem you have is that your woman's clearly fine f***ing normal dudes. Means you better watch out when she goes to order a KFC bucket, because she's going to order from a normal dude. You might give her a smile.
That was cheesy as fuck.
Extra little packet of ketchup before you know it, she's on her back. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about that because there's no one on my echelon. My woman can go through life for the next 20 years interacting with dudes at shopping malls, whatever, and it's just like, you're not Andrew, you're not Andrew, you're not Andrew, you're not Andrew, you're not. There's no one else up here at the top of the mountain. So, but I show love to her by being that guy. So if you're a man and you want to show love to the people around you, you need to get up and become important and strong and rich. And if you don't have the motivation to do that, then you don't even love the people around you. You don't love yourself or anyone else. That's how I show love. I show love to the people who I care about by always being the person who can help them when they need, which means I need to get up and train. I need to get up and work. I need to make a bunch more money, more connections, more important friends, more houses, more everything. That's how you show love as a man. I don't see how useless men even show love. I can't think of a way. Now, as a thought experiment, if I was a useless man, how would I show love? And there's no possible way, because you can flutter with messages. That's what useless men usually do. Flutter with messages, flutter with time. But your time has no value. So it doesn't matter if I give you a 10 million useless pesos. They're useless. This is what a lot of men don't understand. It's kind of interesting. When you become ultra important, your time is super valuable. So my time is, I know England hates me, but you know what? The British pound sterling is still the best looking money. My time's the British pound sterling. £1. If I give her an hour a month, it has value. But if you're Zimbabwean dollars or whatever they had, Zimbabwean pounds, I think it was pounds, your currency is completely valueless. You can give her 1 million hours. It doesn't mean anything because you're not important. This is what unimportant men don't understand. They're like, I text you all the time, I send you flowers, I message you, I hug you, I flood your phone, I tell you how much I love you, and you just left me for that guy and he doesn't even reply. Because his one reply is worth 1 million hours of your replies because you're a nobody. So even your attention has no value when you're useless. And you have nothing else to give. So how can you show love as a man if you don't have competence? I can't even think of how you can show it. That would be actually a terrible existence, to love people and not be able to show it. But if you truly love them, you wouldn't stay useless, and maybe you don't love anyone. Maybe you're just an empty shell for the matrix. Maybe you're a slave. Part of the AI machine. Time to get your QR code stamped on your forehead. Interesting. If you love anybody or anything, you're going to become important. Even if you love your town, you'll learn to fight. You love your city, you'll join the army. Whatever. Love is the bottom. Love is the driver for all masculine achievement and competence. Love. So I'm a man full of love. By extension, my brutal competence is nothing other than proof of how love-filled I am.
What's a story you've never told or a secret you've never shared?
I got robbed in Moscow. Don't think I've ever told this story. Have I ever told this one? Let me think. Don't think so. I got robbed in Moscow. So,
when was it? What happened?
And I like Russia, and I like Russians, but this is the first time I went to Moscow. 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So, do I tell this story? Yeah, all right. Everything starts with women, doesn't it? Man, there's such an attack vector. So I'm talking to this chick on Instagram. Blah, blah, blah. I'm ignoring her. She keeps messaging me all the time. Come Russia, come Russia, come Russia. I'm like, no, I'm not coming to Russia. I've got things to do. Then like 7 other baddies from Russia start messaging me, and everyone wants me to go to Russia. I'm like, why do all these hot girls want me to go to Russia? Why everyone wants me to go to Russia? This sounds like a setup. Something right. But I'm glad I can go to Russia. I can't get a visa anyway. It's too much work. Then the football game came. There was some football thing. I think it was a FIFA, I don't know, football, Euro game, something. It was in Moscow. And if you bought a ticket, you instantly got a visa to go to Russia. So I was like, this is the easiest a visa's ever going to be. Do I go? And then I looked up and I found a game. I think it was like Poland versus Korea or something. It was like €6, this ticket to this game. It's like a €6 Russian visa with no work. Okay, but I'm going to be on my game because I don't trust this. They're after me, the agents. So I buy this ticket, I get my visa, I fly to Moscow. I booked the Kapinski in advance, the Kapinski hotel, because I think if I stay in a 5-star hotel, I'll be okay. I land at the airport, I've got my bag, I go to walk out, guy in a yellow vest goes, taxi, taxi. I say, yep, taxi. I go to get in taxi, and he starts walking towards the civilian car park. And this has happened to me a lot of times in Eastern Europe. It happened to me in Moldova, even in Romania it happens sometimes. People pretend to be taxis, but they're not taxis, and they try to take it to their car. And I'm like, no, I want an official taxi, not get in your car. He goes, I am a taxi. I was like, no. Been around, goodbye. Turned around, start walking back to the taxis. Him and his yellow vest runs up and goes, okay. And he points at this yellow car that said taxi, in the taxi rank, taxi. And he goes, says something to him in Russian, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, okay, here, taxi, sir, taxi. Guy gets out, the taxi driver. Taxi driver gets out. He's like 6 foot, 130 kilo, Mongolian, looks like a wrestler. Gets out.
Zangief.
Yeah, Zangief. Zangief gets out. And because this is how my mind works, I look at him up and down and go, could I take him? It'd be messy. I'll be all right, but it'd be messy. So he gets out, he opens the trunk, ushers for me to put my bag in the trunk, put my bag in the trunk, close the trunk, get in the back of the car. The car starts driving down the motorway in Russia. And he has his phone as the meter, which is the first suspicious thing. And his phone is up there, and this number, Russian rubles, is going through the fucking roof. I'm like, how much is the Russian ruble? I don't even know. So I get my phone out, and I turn on the data, and I get my text message. Hi, data is 25 pounds a megabyte. And I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. How much is the Russian ruble? And I worked out that I've been in this car for 4 minutes, and I owe $600 in taxi. So there's no way that's the taxi fare. So we're driving down the highway at speed, and I'm like, brother, this is fake. This is a scam, bro. And this is the weirdest experience of my life. He totally ignored me. But what can you do? He's driving the car. And people don't ignore me when I talk. So this big man's driving the car, and I've tapped him on the shoulder saying, you're trying to rob me. I was like, bro, you're trying to rob me, stop the car. And he's just like, just totally ignoring me, driving the car. So I'm like, what? I don't want to hit him, but I guess I kind of had to. So I shoved him so the car moved a bit and said, stop the fucking car, I'm not paying this. I don't have the money. Bro, I've been around long enough. I know a killer when I see one. And he turned around and looked me dead in the eye. This man's killed someone, I swear to God. Because I have that look, so I know when I see it. Takes one to know one. He looks me dead in the eye, looks back, gets the phone, dials a number, hands me the phone. Because you guess he doesn't speak English. I hit the phone and say, hello? It's the first guy who tried to take me to the car. He goes, you wanted a taxi. I was like, bro, I don't even have this money on me. So I don't know what you expect to happen because I don't have this money on me. He goes, you wanted a taxi, pay the fare. I said, bro, I can't pay it. I don't have it. Tell him to stop at the nearest gas station. I'll give him the money I have on me and I'll get a real taxi. Hold on. Didn't even answer me, just hung up on me. So I'm like, what can I do here? If I hit this guy, I guess the car crashes. This other guy isn't answering. They want money I no longer have. So I tapped the guy and I said, okay, I'll pay it. Call your friend again, call your friend. Gives me the phone again. I was like, listen, I think I had like $4,000 on me. I said, look, I have $500 is all I have. I'll pay the $500 when we get to the end, if you let me out. The guy goes, no, you paid the meter. Hung up again. I was like, you fucking cunt. Like, you unbelievable. So I thought it'd be smart. So I emailed, because my phone call wasn't working, so I emailed the Kapinski and said, I'm having a problem with the taxi. Can someone be waiting for me outside the Kapinski hotel? It's urgent, please. I emailed their info@kapinski.russia as a complete random. And I thought they'd never reply in time. They replied instantly, within 20 seconds. Yes, sir, someone will be waiting for you, no problem. So I was like, thank God they replied to that fast. Great. The concierge can argue, the taxi driver, work all this out. So now I'm just relaxing. I'm kind of chill a bit. And I just had to prod the guy. I was like, do you speak English then? Totally ignored me. I was like, you're friendly. So I'm just talking shit. So anyway, we pull up at the hotel. I'm all confident, right? Guy's gonna be outside. I pull up at the hotel. Nobody's outside. Nobody. No concierge, nothing. So I said to the guy, I go to get out the car. I get out the car. The guy then gets out the car, comes, and he stands face to face with me like a boxing stare-off and shows me the phone of how much I owe him. I don't even know what it is in rubles, 3,000 American dollars, something ridiculous. I said, bro, I don't have it. He looks at me like he's going to murder me. I don't have it. I said, I have $500. That's all I have. He goes, okay. Using my ninja fingers, my hands, I reach in my pocket and I ninja off like 5 100s. Because I've got a pile of money like this. So I'm like, I give it to him. And then the takes the money, and I'm standing at the back of the car, waiting for him to open the trunk, gets in the car and starts driving down the road. I'm like, bro, my bag. He stops like 5 meters later and goes, the rest of the money. He knew. They set me up when I put my bag in the trunk at the beginning. And my bag's got my laptop, all my clothes, everything, which is worth thousands and thousands of dollars. Now, if you ever get in a taxi, don't put your bag in the boot. It was a setup. I was like, you fuck. I was like, call your friend. So he calls his friend. I said, listen, I've already given him $500. It's very clever what you did with the bag. It's like, the guy from the Kapinski is about to come out now. I can't give you more than this. We have to come up to something sensible. Said, I can go to a cash point and try and get some more money, but I need my bag. And he goes, okay, 500 more. I said, fine. Hung up the phone. Instantly peeled off 500, didn't bother going to a cash point. And then guy gets back out the car, and me and him have a Mexican standoff at the back of the car. He opens up the boot. He grabs my bag, I've got the money, and we kind of swap them. Just after we've done that, after I paid this fucker $1,000, the guy from the Kapinski walks out. Oh, Mr. Tate, you need help? I'm like, yeah, help. Yeah, carry my bag. You're useless. It's been 10 minutes. Where have you been? Oh, sorry, Mr. Tate. Useless. It's kind of funny because for my other 4 days in Moscow, I had a great time. I love the Russian people. They're very nice. I guess I was unlucky. But every time I left the hotel, there was like a row of taxis, and they all looked like this guy. And they'd all stare at me. And I thought, I'm so glad I paid him, because I guarantee if I got in a fight with that guy, I'd be dead by now. They're just waiting outside the Kapinski, these dudes. And the lesson is, never put your bag in the back of a taxi. That's the lesson for everybody, and that's the story. And I survived, and I had a great time in Moscow. But I'm not going to lie, it did sour things a little bit for me. I was a bit nervous, on edge. And that's how I paid $1,000 for a taxi. Turns out the official rate, which I found out on the way back to the airport, which was booked from the hotel, I think it was like $6. I got wrecked. But to lose my bag and my luggage was worth so much more.
Well, and surely the $1,000, the lesson was worth more than the $1,000.
Yeah, I mean, I like to look in the eyes of killers. There's not many people like that around anymore in the West.
So you kind of enjoyed it in a way.
I mean, Russia's Russia. In the West, you don't see that look very often. But it was a stark reminder of the realities of this world, because the realities of the world always boil down to violence. And I understand that very well. And sometimes you get a little bit comfortable. There are people who walk around through Earth. They're walking around. I can look outside right now. There's people walking around, and they don't understand that every single thing they rely on and everything they love is backed by violence. It always has been. It always will be. The whole underpinning of a civilized society is violence. The only reason we don't need violence is because there is a threat of violence. And you can nail it down to any law and regulation. As simple as a parking ticket. If you don't pay your parking ticket, they will give you a fine. And if you don't pay the fine, they will take you to court. If you don't go to court, they will take your house. And if you don't give them your house, police will come, kick the shit out of you, throw you in jail. It ends in violence in all things. And it was a good reminder to understand that making a mistake, putting my bag in the back of a car, in the boot, as opposed to keeping it on me, brought me this close to a physical confrontation with probably a Mongolian wrestling champion in the middle of a street in Moscow, by myself. And it's a good reminder that violence is always so close. It's only a few steps away at all times. And
the reminder that if you have enough money, you can buy yourself out of death.
Well, yeah.
Because if you hadn't had 5,000 or been rich,
I would have been in a lot of trouble,
you could have been dead.
I think so. And it was good also to see that I felt nerves, but they were the same nerves I felt before I fought. I didn't feel fear, which was a good reminder as well, to know that I'm still not afraid. I get nerves because the nerves sharpen me, but I don't feel fear, which was a good thing. But I still remember his eyes. I don't think I've ever been looked at like that in the West. And that's another thing that we can tie back into our whole conversation we just had about how certain societies still operate in a certain way, and our Western societies are so failed. Maybe I should have told him about LGBT and feminism, and he might have let me go. Maybe I should have said, this is bad, this is misogynist. Maybe I should just talk some garbage, and he would have let me off. Or is the brutal reality of the world men who are prepared to die for an idea? And his idea was I owed him $6,000, and he was ready to kick the shit out of me for it. And that's the bottom line of all ideas, which we can also tie back into what's very interesting. all these ideals which are against men are defended by men. Think about it. If feminists go to a feminist rally and anyone tries to interrupt that rally, who comes to stop you? Men. Policemen. Defend the idea which is designed to destroy them. Do you remember when America left the Taliban? America left Afghanistan and the Taliban took over in like a day. I was having a debate with some feminist. And she was talking about how terrible Afghanistan's going to be because the women can't go to school anymore. And women need to go to school because they're equal to men and blah, blah, blah. And I was saying, yeah, well, I think women should go to school. I'm not saying women shouldn't go to school, but I'll argue that in certain realms, women are not equal to men. She goes, why? So, well, you just proved it. The American army left. The Afghanistani Defense Force, the ADF, was left to defend the girls' schools. The Taliban started coming. Imagine that. You've been hired into the ADF. You get paid $225 a month. You get given a gun. You're some guy. Guard this girls' school. Girls really need to go to school. Fine. Stand there. America abandoned you. You no longer have air support. You no longer have night vision. They're gone. Taliban are gearing up. You see the dust of the Humvees in the distance, the pickup trucks, and they're coming. You stand there like, do I want to defend this girls' school? Nah. And they bounced.
Ooh.
Fair enough. So I said to her, why don't the women defend the school? No, why should the women do it? You just told me you're equal to men. Well, no, not that. Oh, so the men have to die so you can go to school. Feminist. I'm just trying to understand. I'm not attacking your ideals, I'm understanding. You believe women are equal to men until it comes to defending an idea, then men have to defend your idea. Which means men are the only ones who allow you to have the idea in the first place, because if we don't defend it, it doesn't exist. Which means we own feminism, it's ours. Thanks! So much for strong and independent, it's men's, it's all ours. So in the realities of the world, all this garbage falls away anyway. Because the reality of the world is if you're not prepared to die to defend an idea, you don't have an idea. You're not allowed one. That's the bottom line. And that's what's so scary about all these ideals which are designed to attack masculinity, is that the last masculine men which exist defend it.
Last question.
Sure.
Is happiness the purpose of life? And if it isn't, what is?
Okay, the purpose of life, from a boring answer, is to procreate as much as possible. I believe a man should have as many children as possible. To further expand, I do not believe happiness is the purpose of life for a man. I believe happiness is what children should strive for, and I believe women should aim to be happy. I believe happiness is for women and children. I believe men should have a sense of purpose. I believe we should live for something. If you live for happiness, then you're hedonistic. You go to festivals, you do drugs, you drink alcohol, you're an idiot. Living for happiness as a man makes you an idiot, 99% of the time. If you live for happiness as a woman, you probably want to have a good relationship with your spouse, and you want to be giddy, and you want to laugh and joke and raise your children and make pretty things, and it's pretty good. But male happiness is just being an idiot. I think you need a sense of purpose as a man. I think you need to have something to live and to die for. If you feel purposeful, you'll never feel sad. You may be stressed, and you may be busy, but you'll never feel sad. And I think your purpose can make you happy, but I don't think men should be chasing happiness. They should be chasing purpose. I wouldn't describe myself as a happy person. I don't wake up and go, yeah, I'm not two. I mean, my chick's happy. Yay, Italy! Yay, private jet! Wow, this pasta's great! Yay, Ferrari! I'm just kind of like, give me the food, I'm hungry. Whatever, she's happy. That's her job. That's why she's around me. She's the happiness. Women bring the vibes, men bring the money. She's happy, good. I want her to be happy. I would hate to be with a miserable woman. But I think men being happy is kind of infantile. Maybe I'm wrong. I would hate to be with a miserable woman, but I would like to actually ask women, would you want to be with a happy man? I think women love me because of my competence and because of what I can do. But imagine being with a happy man. I don't know. I'm just speaking. You're a woman, and your man is happy. I love coffee. This is great. Have you ever had this? Wow. Doesn't gay mean happy? I don't know. I'm just talking. I don't think I'm supposed to be happy. I have things to do, important things, stressful things. I have things to do. I'm supposed to be competent and purposeful, and I'm supposed to attack the Matrix and tell the truth and know Aikido and make murderers apologize to me in jail and survive the Mongolian wrestler who wanted to kill me. And I'm supposed to do all of that. I don't know at what point I'm supposed to be smiling like a child. My children are supposed to be happy. The women around me are supposed to be happy, but that's not my job or my purpose. I think the men who want to be happy are losers. And I think that would actually be a turnoff for most women. I think if a man were to say to a woman, I just want to be happy and don't want to have any stress, I just want to be happy. I think a woman deep in her heart would be like, what? What do you mean be happy? Pay my bills. I don't think she wants that either. So if your base purpose is to recreate and being happy, I'm not saying be miserable at all. I think people understand what I'm saying here. And being happy for the sake of happiness itself repels females, then I don't think happiness is the purpose of life as a man. No, you're supposed to be important. Was Genghis Khan happy?
You wouldn't have thought so.
Well, I wouldn't describe him as happy. He'd be described as a lot of things before happy. You'd say he's competent, you'd say he's successful, you'd say he's ruthless, you'd say he's smart, you'd say he was a tactical genius. You'd say lots of things before you ever got to happy, if you ever got there. Do we remember the happy men of history? What? And plus, if you're purposeful, it's lasting. Happiness is fleeting. That's the problem. Which means you're always going to be chasing a higher high. You'll be happy and then it will go away. Then you want to be happy again, then it will go away. You're going to end up just doing dumb shit. That's how you become a drug addict. I took a little bit of drugs, made me happy, and now it doesn't work, so I'm going to take more drugs, and this time I'll be happy. Chasing happiness is a spiral to nowhere. I will argue that my largest transformative periods in my life, the times when I've done the most amazing things, are not when I was happy. It was when I was the complete opposite. If you were to tell me, how do you completely transform your life? I'd say end up depressed. When you're depressed, you can transform your life. That's when your soul is malleable enough for you to do whatever it requires to go through the pain. That's when you can look a guy in the face and say, shoot me then. I don't care. That's when you're dangerous. That's when you get things done. That's when you get rich. That's when you become a man. That's when you train. That's why I miss my nightmares. Now I sleep. I'm mad at myself. I'm disappointed in me. I'm like, what? No. Slept 4 hours. No. Wake up. And sweating and panicking. That's what I should be doing. I don't want to be happy. What do I want to be happy for? I want to grab life by the throat and squeeze it. I want the Matrix to lock me up again. Do it. I don't care. It's kind of like, I've always liked people who are very competent, but depressed. I've known some people who were like depressed and miserable, but they're very competent. And I liked them because if I hired a happy person, he's only one bad event away from becoming useless. So this guy's already at the bottom, bro. And he's getting everything done. You can't hurt this guy. He has nothing to lose. I like him. Give me more of this guy. Like, hey, bro, your car just got stolen. Yeah, probably. Those are the best. I love those guys. Maybe I put on a happy veneer, but I'm kind of one of them. I expect any minute for police to bust in here and drag me away. I'm like, told ya, do. Who cares? Happy people are, oh, I'm sad. I don't know. I don't think men should be operating in this paradigm. Another way I can answer the question is I think happiness. There's a really interesting documentary about colors, and it was about an African tribe, and it was talking about how colors affect language. So in your book, this is red and this is blue, because we've labeled them as such. And they showed this African tribe that had different names for very different shades of green. And to them, they were clearly different colors, but to us, they're just green. But this tribe couldn't tell the difference between red and blue because to them, it was the same color, so they couldn't see the difference in the colors by how the language determined how your eyes can detect colors. It was very interesting. And I think the same can be for happy. If you set the idea of happy as laughing like a child in giddish immaturity, then you're only going to be happy a couple of times a month, truthfully, if you're an adult. But if you set the bar of happy as anything over distraught, then you're always happy. When you feel true pain in life, if your parent were to die, your instant reaction is silence. When someone's really hurt, they don't talk. When you're really depressed, you don't talk. My first day in jail, I didn't speak. You don't talk when bad things happen. If you got a phone call and someone said all your family just died in a car crash, you'd freeze. You don't talk. So if you set your mind to say, if I am speaking, I am happy, because I'm clearly not distraught, then I'm a happy person most of the time. I'm happy 99.9% of the time now, because I've decided what happy is. But if you decide, I'm only happy when I'm laughing like a child and I have no stress at all and nothing's going wrong and I'm at a festival and my girlfriend's loves me, well, then you're never going to reach it. And then you're going to destroy your life trying to reach it. So happiness is also self-prescribed. So I think if you're a man and your arms are functioning and you can speak today because nothing terrible has happened, then you should be happy. And don't worry, guys. Bad things are going to happen. They're going to come. You have nothing to worry about. There will be a day you wake up and somebody you love has died. And you can be sad that day. Why waste a perfectly good day being sad when sad days are guaranteed to come? Everyone you love is going to die. Everyone. Don't worry about it. Sad days are coming for you, so I wouldn't have them in advance. If I were you, I'd wait for a real reason and just smile. Something to dipshit. That's what I would say.
And this show is called Disruptors. What does that word mean to you?
People who break the paradigm, who attack the matrix, who disrupt the normal flow of the programming, which is designed to be installed in all of us. And I think as much as I understand and say about how people need to break free, I understand that there has to be matrix-minded people. Not everybody can break free because society wouldn't work. We need the people who believe in the garbage, and we need the people who follow the programming, and we need people who lose so that winners can win. There's no light without dark. But anybody with a brain is capable of having anything they want in life. I believe the universe is very giving. And perhaps you will know, but I've never met anyone who genuinely tried their hardest for anything and never got it. I've never seen somebody dedicate themselves properly and not get it. I've never seen it. I've never seen somebody try their best and not get it. I've seen people pretend to try their best and not get it. I've seen people say they want it and not get it. I've seen people make excuses for why they'll never have it and not get it, but I've never seen anybody who just wakes up, shuts up, works, and not get it. Ever. You can have anything you want, and that's how you disrupt the matrix, because most people are lazy and stupid. So, just to tie back into my school, when I explain to people, for $49, I'll tell you exactly what to do, and all you have to do is follow instructions. Sit there and follow instructions, and you will have everything you've ever desired. The car you want, the woman you want, the house you want, the holidays you want. All you have to do is do the work, and you can disrupt the matrix, or you can stay lazy, and you can stay inside the slave programming, and there'll be people who always do that, and we need them. Because, you don't wash your own cars, do you? I don't. So someone's got to do it, and that's how society functions. There's always going to be winners, and there's always going to be losers.
This has been a pleasure. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you,
Thank you very much.
Let me know your favourite parts in the comments. Let me know the parts that pissed you off in the comments. I know my favourite part by a mile. I'll get in the comments and engage with you. And what would Andrew say about you not liking and subscribing and turning the notification bell on to this channel? As a commitment to you for being here all the way to the end of the content, and because I promised, I'm giving away £30,000 worth of exclusive prizes. A Rolex, a 1-to-1 shadowing day with me where I take you out on my supercars and I take you for a 1-star Michelin dinner, and 20 silver coins. Here is what you need to do. There are a small number of secret questions at robmore.com/Tate. Go there right now, answer the questions, you're automatically entered. I have one special unannounced bonus for everyone who enters at robmore.com/Tate. And there will be 3 winners of my £30,000 giveaway. And I'll be selecting the winners from the first 100 correct answers. Go now to robmore.com/Tate.